shit. So I had to
Watch it.
take off running, dog. I was hurting all day the next day. 99 yards. I'm running for my life. if you go to if you go to YouTube and type in Final Score Friday, I think it's
They
week.
got
I
you.
forget. I forget what week it is, and you see me. I mean, I'm hurt running for my life.
Dang, they didn't got you.
Yeah, I said, damn, they would get me on Channel 6 looking crazy.
Well, welcome, welcome. How y'all doing? I'm B Wise.
I'm Miles. What's cracking? What's cracking?
Trigger. We waiting on Trigger to show up, but we was in the backstage talking. But we're gonna go ahead and go live, get it in, talk about some of everything. We was talking about local football and stuff like that, refereeing, and to segue off what we was talking about, how you feel about that injury that happened to the referee in that Saints game?
I didn't see what happened.
So Alvin Kamara, you know how they usually like hit people when they hit their legs and all, like people fall over.
Uh huh.
He hit his leg, and I think they said I want to say like he fractured his tibia, fibula, like
Oh god.
he had like he messed his joint up. He had to get surgery and all that kind of stuff. He gonna be on disability
So was
and
it an
everything like
official,
that.
or was it an official, or was it somebody on the chain crew?
I think it was somebody on the chain crew, but it's like those officials that be sitting off to the side. Like they had
Okay.
like
I
officials that sit off to
mean,
the side and stuff like that.
so when you're running the chain crew, you got this thing called a clip. You put the clip
Mhm.
in one of the 5 yard marks. The reason why you got that clip is if they come your way, you drop that damn chain and you get the fuck
Yeah,
out the way. So why he didn't drop that chain and get the fuck out the way? Because I mean, as soon as I see them running right, I drop the shit. I tell my
and go.
train, I tell my chain crew, if you see them running towards the sideline, drop it and get out the way. They got pads, you don't.
Yep, that's what they said.
So in my heart, I mean, that like stuff like that happens, and maybe he caught a brain freeze and didn't move. That takes experience. I remember when I first started, I didn't took a couple lumps, but as you take lumps, you
Yeah,
learn. I need to get the fuck out of the way.
but like
So
you
like when
said
I'm
with
on this,
that,
huh?
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said because when I'm on this, because I'm usually headline, so I'm on the sideline.
Right,
As soon as I see them come my way, I take a diagonal step out the way, so that they can pass me.
just so
Because
automatically you know. Yeah,
yeah, but like I said, that just comes with experience. But yeah, I feel for that chain crew. But yeah, you got a clip, and the whole purpose of that clip is so when they come your way, you get the fuck out the way.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
I
He didn't get
mean,
out the way.
yeah, and like I said, I got to relook at the play and see what happened. But and I don't know, NFL may be different from high school. High school, that's what they teach you. They may not teach you that in NFL. I don't know. So,
I know life told me to get the fuck out of the way.
oh yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
black side, like,
right, right.
hold on, let
So.
me switch headphones. Look at Lady Ray. What's going on, Lady Ray? How you doing? How you doing?
Lady Ray. I guess I'll see you tomorrow as well, Lady Ray. Oh
Hello?
my.
Can you? Yeah, okay, there you go. Microphone, mic check, mic check.
You're
All right. But yeah, man, he got injured in that game, and that takes me to the NFL. I'm hearing from watching the Pat McAfee show that they're talking to the right channels, and they're going to start working on their referee programs and trying to get officiating right and get the Terry McCulloughs and the Dean Blandinos and the people that's in the booth, the good refs that's getting paid right now to consult and actually bring them in and train them and actually get some refs that's not have real jobs and they come to ref as a hobby. You know what I mean? Like especially for
oh,
the
you talking about
NFL.
becoming a referee full time?
Yep.
I thought NFL already hired full time refs.
I think they just started it, but they don't really have a training program around it. Right. They don't
For
have
real?
yeah, from what I'm hearing and from what they're saying, it seems like it ain't something that's like they probably got something like how like y'all got with like the VHSL, like
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. But I don't think for what they have, I don't think that from what it sounds like they ain't have no like big regulated thing.
I'm
It's like
I'm surprised at that because the way the NFL is being a multi-billion-dollar business. I'm
right.
very surprised they didn't make these referees full time, where that's their full time job. But I just want to say this: You can do all the goddamn training in the world. You are not going to get every call right.
Oh yeah.
These players, they move too fast for the naked eye. It's just
But
too. Unless you put 22 officials on the field and they got responsibility for each player, because I think the NFL runs an 8-man crew. You're not gonna see everything.
right.
And what people gotta realize is referees got a job too. We have a saying, see everything you call, but don't call everything you see.
Right.
So like if let's say they run the ball right and the left tackle is holding them, it has no effect on the play, so you don't call
Right.
it. But where the average fan is like, oh, he's holding, but they don't realize we have observers. So after every game, the observer comes and he evaluates us. And he'll be like, all right, Brandon, in the third quarter, you called this holding play. And, they gained 30 yards. And you called this holding play, but the holding was nowhere near the play. Why'd you call that? And
Right.
you'll get docked a point. So you get so many points. You don't officiate the next game. You'll be, as we say, you'll be doing yard work on Saturday, on Friday.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah,
So
you got to get out.
yeah, so it's it's a lot of stuff people don't understand that comes in the state of officiating.
So I got a question for you,
What's
and
up?
since you in the game, do you think it would be beneficial if they just partnered together with the high schools, all the schools, colleges, all divisions, XFL, USFL, like start training your reps at the smaller like levels and have them progress like coaches, like players, like all the stuff, like and then like learn the game and go up. You think that would be beneficial for refs? And then to learn what they're
It'd
teaching
be
them.
beneficial for the one who make it, but for the ones who make it, for the ones who don't make it, what do they do next? Because you can't be paying them. You can't be paying high school officials 6-figure salaries. The schools pay us to officiate their games.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying NFL, you put a little money into it. You got the money you can put into it. Not to say paying 6 figures, but to have it to where you're not worrying about, well, we need refs to cover this game. We need refs to cover that game. We need refs to cover the basket. Like you have a committee that's 24/7, 365 is committed to, all right, what rules? All right, well, this crew got this many points. What do we need to teach them? Like actually dedicated to making the process better and making it. I mean, I just see it as more jobs for people and then just a better way to control the training and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I would have to have to go through it and see, how it's going. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Um, you know, yeah, I don't know.
Say like you had
High
like
school level, I don't know because referees are hurting. We're hurting for officials, so I don't
right.
know how that work because we already don't have enough officials as it is on the high school level.
Yeah, I think like you can create an ecosystem. So like the older refs who are in the league who don't want to keep up no more, you can kind of recycle them. Hey man, y'all go to the college league and train the new crop and teach. Get players in there. Try to get players who didn't make it in the league who let a game. Like instead of being coach, hey, come be a ref. Like
I mean,
come
yeah,
rep the
we
game,
had that
officiate the game.
majority of referees did play the game.
That's
I
good.
mean, you have that, but I mean, it's just unfortunately trying to get people to officiate is hard. It is not a sexy job. You got to learn that you're gonna be called everything but the child of God when you're on that basketball field, basketball court. You can't sit there and retaliate every time someone call you a dumb bitch motherfucker.
Right.
And it takes a lot of restraint. I mean, I've almost got into it with a dude in Colonial Heights this upcoming season. So I mean, it's a lot of traveling. Um, you know, your Fridays and Saturdays are pretty much gone.
Gone.
If I take you an example, I don't know if you talking about you want to do it. I don't know how you gonna do it with 5 kids. It's very time consuming.
I
So
don't
now
know.
you're
Just
putting
give
a
me the
lot of
information.
pressure. You're putting a lot of pressure on Katie. Now she gonna be able to handle it.
Hey, for the extra bread, she better. You better figure it out.
Yeah. And I mean, you're talking about from middle of August to middle of November. 3 months. That could be a long time for her.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just gonna come to the games.
Yeah, and well, that's another thing. You may see, a lot of the wives don't come to the game. Cause like I said, people don't have nice things to say. Oh, did I lose?
Can you hear me? I'm still here. I'm just trying
I
to fix
said,
my audio.
a lot of people don't have nice things to say about the refs. So your wife will be sitting in the stands and people dog shitting the hell out of you.
Oh,
So she gonna be able to handle it. One of the dudes who mentored me, he's been a ref for 25 years. He said his wife came to one game and she said she'll never come back. So, but with all that being said, I still love it. As crazy as that sounds. Oh, I think. Hold on. I can't. I didn't lost my mic. I'm gonna come back in. All right, hold on. Can you hear me? Man, I still can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? What's up? What's up? I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I go Mars. Can you hear me now?
All right, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I just went on and downloaded the app, so maybe that'll help. All right.
Like, well, I mean, I say it because also, for what you said, for a couple months, that's some decent bread for some people. I mean, that'll help a homeless
I got
person
my
out.
yeah. I just got my check. So we get our check the week of Thanksgiving, and yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty nice.
Oh, so you get it. You'll get it all in one lump sum.
Yeah, you get all one lump sum unless you do little league. If you do little league, you get paid bi-weekly.
Right. Okay. Shoot. So you can do all that, and then you get your little league pay, and then you do the high school game. You get that for the holidays. That's a good little thing.
Yeah, and that's just for one.
Especially hold you over to baseball.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. You come.
We got some guys that do football, basketball, and baseball.
Oh, they making
But a lot
money
of
out
those
here.
guys are older. Yeah, a lot of those guys are old, huh?
I said they making money out here.
Yeah,
They're
but
making
a
money out
lot of
here.
those guys are older. Their kids are grown, and their wives, want them out the house, so they have time.
Yeah.
Where someone like us, we still trying to be on the upcome in our professional life. We just don't have the time to do all that. And the higher level you are, the more time consuming it is.
Shoot, I don't know, man. You making it sound good, man. Just Friday, Saturday. Think about it. It's the Friday, Saturday, man. The rest of the week is yours.
You said what?
I don't get my mic. I said Friday, Saturday, and then the rest of the week is yours.
No, not necessarily. So when you start out,
you full time.
No, I'm saying when you so say if you trying to officiate for high school next year.
Yep.
So Tuesdays you got class. You got to make.
No, that's right. You did. Yep.
Yeah, there's like 20 classes in a year. You got to make for first year. You got to make at least 13. Then you got JV
Oh
games
wow.
Wednesday and Thursday, and then you got varsity on Friday. And they're gonna probably encourage you to do little leagues. Days out the week you doing games, and then you got class on Tuesday. So Sunday and Monday will probably be your only days off, and that's if
Oh,
there's no rainy day. So if you get a rainy day and they gotta
you gonna be on
postpone
there
it,
Monday?
yeah, I done had times where I didn't officiated games for 2 straight weeks with no break.
God, man.
So,
But that check look good though.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. So,
I don't know. I don't know. See, send me the information, man. I don't care. I'm gonna be happy.
I mean, I would say try it for 1 year, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. You'll make your
Yeah.
money back. But one thing I learned this year: step out your comfort zone and do something that
Do
you're
your
not used to. I never would have thought I'd have been a fucking teacher, and this shit ain't bad.
You like it. He about to turn into Coach Carter over here. Coach
I ain't being
Carter.
no, I ain't being no fucking coach. Fuck that.
You go ahead and coach a little league basketball, man. Get that extra 2,500 a year.
No, the principal tried to get me to coach this team. I said, nah, I'm good. Cause for starters, they student athletes. You got an F on your grades. You're not playing.
Oh
And
wow.
if I was the coach,
Yeah,
you
you
missing
Coach
any
Carter for
work.
real.
Yeah, if you missing any work, you gonna be in practice doing your schoolwork. If you get ISD, you not playing. Like, nah, they don't want me to be the coach.
He the best player on the team though.
No, cause I mean it's middle school, so they ain't bringing no money anyway.
Hey, them middle school games used to be hype, bro. I remember the
Mm,
only one I went to. It was when we played. I forgot who we played, but Danny was playing. Jermaine was playing. Like, man,
yeah. Mhm.
that was a fun time. All right, let's get into some NFL talk. We was trying to kill the vibe, wait for Trigger a little bit. We're gonna give him some more time, but we're gonna jump into this NFL talk.
How you spell
Um,
advertise?
you put me on the spot like that.
Yeah.
Advertise. A
Advertising.
D A
Uh huh.
D V E R T I S I N G.
Thank you, sir. I was having a brain
I
fart.
think. Um, what was the answer to your riddle you sent in the group?
Oh, well, I looked on Google. A lot of people said it was 4. I
Okay.
was overdoing it. I was thinking like 12 or something, or 16.
No, because they said it was two. Because I get this: the two to the left, two to the right, two up front, two to the back. All right, Lady Ray, we can give you the riddle. See if you can figure it out.
You said what?
If two, I'm gonna see if Lady Ray can figure it out. If two are in front of two people behind two people to the left of two people, and two people to the right of two people, how many people are there?
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand the question. It's how you read it now. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So it is 4. It is 4. I got you.
yeah. Brother Blue messed me up when he threw the mirror in there. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah. Well, Danny, he'll overthink anyway. He overthinks everything.
Oh Lord. All right. So Trigger ain't here yet. So we're gonna get Miles the floor and let Miles get a Miles ran in on his Dallas Cowboys. Or football or basketball or what you've seen so far in the sports world.
Well, you know what I want to talk about.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. The
Yeah.
floor is yours.
So there's no bias. Everybody knows I am a diehard Florida State fan. Um, how I became a Florida State fan was back in 2000 when Florida State played Virginia Tech for the national championship. I was in second grade, and everybody in school was rooting for Virginia Tech. I wanted to be different, so I rooted for Florida State, and that's where it began. Um,
Didn't Virginia Tech spank that
how you,
ass?
huh?
Didn't Virginia Tech spank that ass with Michael Vick
No,
that
no,
year?
Florida, no. Florida State spanked that ass. Florida State won that. Yeah, they won like 46-21 or something like that. But I don't get how you do everything you're supposed to do. You go undefeated in your conference. You win every game. You're in a Power 5 school. You win your conference championship. But because something you can't control, that holds you back. So to me, that whole saying "control your destiny," you got to throw that out the window because clearly that's not true. Um, Alabama has a loss. Yeah, they beat Georgia, but they had some shaky wins as well. Florida State had an average margin of victory of 20 something points. They beat a SEC team by 10 on the road, and then they beat a top 15 team by 10 with a third string quarterback who was there in Louisville. I think is top 20 in scoring and held them to 6 points. In the last 40 possessions, Florida State has gave up one touchdown. I mean, now I'm not saying they're gonna win the national championship, but they get Rodemaker back because you get 28 days off. With Michigan, you know how Harbaugh is in the playoffs. He struggles mightily. I could see them beating Washington. Texas, I don't see them beating, but you never know. But yeah, it's just I understand money and Texas and Bama. That's the game everybody will see. That's the game that's gonna bring home the bacon. But what happened to Florida State was a travesty.
Like we said, like we said in the group chat, they made the money games, man. They
Mm-hmm.
made the money games. I mean, TCU robbed y'all. I think TCU, what happened with them last year, genuinely is still fresh on everybody's mind. So it's kind of like if y'all go out there and dominate Louisville, I think y'all are in. And I don't think Texas makes it. But I don't know because you got to put Texas in over Alabama. And then what is the
Well, yeah, I would say
argument there?
Bama wouldn't. But you know what though?
What's the
Honestly,
argument there? No
I
SEC,
think
no
Bama.
SEC team.
Yeah, yeah, Bama will probably still make. I don't know because then they was probably still use Jordan Travis as an excuse. I sat
Or they
there
would
and
have put
asked. I think
Georgia
I
in.
asked this. Huh?
They would have put Georgia in. They'd have put Georgia at 4, so that way they would have.
I don't see how you can put Georgia in when they lost to Alabama.
But then how you put Alabama in when they lost to Texas?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would be. It would be. Well, no, okay, you're right. It would be if they didn't put Florida. Well, no, you would have to put Florida State in. I don't know. They would have
You would
made.
have to
No,
put
they
Florida
probably would have
State.
put Georgia. They would
Florida
probably
State
would
would
have
have
put
been
Georgia.
2. I think it would have been
Yeah.
Michigan, Florida State, Washington, and you would have to put.
You would have to put Texas.
You got to put Texas. You got
Yeah.
to. You got to put. And then that argument that they say no SEC team, like okay, that goes out the window. Florida State beat
Yeah.
Louisville, a top 20 team, by 30 points. They damn near might be number 1.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think I put this in the group chat. I was like, if Bryce Harper, if Bryce Young got hurt in Alabama, they beat Auburn by 10 points. Ugly game, and then they beat I don't know LSU in the SEC championship by 16-6. Are they gonna sit there and leave Alabama out? I don't think they would.
Undefeated Georgia, Alabama would have hurt quarterbacks in the college football playoff. It's
Yeah,
not
they
even a
would have still had
question.
them in there.
It's not even a question. Like
Just
Florida
call
State
it a
got
spade.
robbed. It sucks.
Yeah, just call a spade a spade. You want Texas and Alabama. So
I think Georgia feel like they got robbed a little bit too. Like they said, we back to back national championships. We lost the last game, the SEC championship, to Alabama, and we're at not even 5. They were at 6. No, they were at 5. They were at 5. No, they were
Georgia,
at
yeah,
6.
Georgia's at because Florida State's 5.
Yeah, they put them at 6. They went from 1 to 6.
Yeah. In Texas, Alabama went from 8 to 4.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it was the ACC committee. I think they said 5 people on the committee was from the ACC.
mm,
But I agree with what
I,
Mike Greenberg say. Put it in the computer. We got all this AI stuff. Put it in the computer. Put the records in there, the strength of schedule, put the wins, put the rosters, put the stats, put everything in the computer, and let the computer say who the best teams are.
well, the computer had
Had
Florida
Florida
State
State.
playoffs
Had Florida State.
97%. But let me tell you about the computer. So what messed that computer up was the BC. I don't know if you remember the
Yeah,
BCS.
BCS. Yep.
They used to complain about the computers because they said the computers were getting it wrong. So I mean, I don't know. Now they talking about this 12 playoff, the 12 team playoff. But what's gonna happen is the 12th, 13th, and 14th seed. Someone's still gonna get robbed. And then they're gonna complain about. They're gonna complain. So it's really no true.
But in a sense of that though, I see it because they talked about it on the Pat Mac. Like if you complain at 13, 14, you need to chill. If you telling me you can't get into the top 12,
Mm-hmm.
you need to chill. But they may complain when a one-loss Alabama is sitting at 13 and they get in over undefeated Liberty. Now we got another issue. Because Liberty was undefeated, I think, this year too. All these Virginia teams doing well. JMU, the Liberty, not Virginia Tech, not UVA, but VSU was undefeated. Like all these teams are doing good. Would they get into the college football playoff? Not Virginia State because they're not, of course, in it. But would JMU got in? Because y'all only want to get JMU a bowl. Would Liberty? We know they didn't get in because I think they put them at 13th. I forgot what the BCS had them, man. I think the BCS had Liberty high.
Okay.
I thought they said because I think they undefeated.
I got
but
you.
That team up there sneaky good. That JMU sneaky good. JMU need a new coach though, but I don't know, man.
Shout out to Miss Tia Benefield, graduate of JMU.
Yep. Miss
But,
Trigger.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then now Jordan Travis is not playing in against Georgia. Keon Coleman already announced he's not playing. Who knows? Their heart may not even be in the game. So, Georgia might blow them out. Then they're gonna be like, well, see, that's why they don't belong. But
dang,
a lot of So we'll
Trigger,
see.
how you doing, Trigger? He said Georgia choked.
Huh?
He said Georgia choked. And we were talking about how Florida State got robbed. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree. I know we were kind of texting each other as the final playoff positions came out on Sunday, and I predicted exactly what they put out there.
You did.
But obviously, I felt like the teams that deserved it should have been there because, again, why else do you play these games? Florida State, they had an unfortunate situation, that injury, and they overcame it. They continued to win, although they didn't look like the same team offensively. They continued to win games, and that's what should be what it comes down to when you're considering a football team in the college football playoff. An undefeated football team that obviously won their conference as well. Like you got to put them in the playoff. You got to put them in the Final Four. And I felt like Alabama, the loss to Texas was obviously huge because they lost by double digits at home. The fact that they beat Georgia for the SEC championship, granted Georgia's number one team, I feel like the loss to Texas was a little bit bigger than their win against Georgia, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like, obviously they should have been the ones out. Florida State should have been in their spot. And then you got the right four teams in there with Michigan being number one, Washington being number two, Florida State at 3, and then you got Texas at 4.
I hear you, Trigger.
Lady Ray, how you doing? Yeah, but I know, Larry, Florida State is your team, so I didn't know if you were in the middle of venting or whatnot.
Oh,
yeah,
no, I
home.
just finished. And we just started talking about the 12-team playoff next year. How, I get it. I think it's taken away from the regular season because what's going to happen is you will have a lot of upsets. You have a 12 seed beating a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they should do 6 teams. 6 teams, and the first 2 teams get a bye.
Yeah, I feel like 6, is the perfect number. Because obviously that kind of keeps it like 4. I feel like it's too little. But if you open it up to 6, I feel like okay, we can put in a couple more teams that'll still keep it interesting. The competition won't be too far. It won't be too much of a gap between the top teams.
Yeah,
the games will be a little bit more close.
It's gonna be the ACC versus the SEC. I'm sorry, the Big Ten versus the SEC. That's what it's gonna be if you do 16. It's gonna be the Big Ten versus the SEC. You can get the top 3 from the Big Ten and the top 3 from the SEC, and that's what it's going to be every year. I think 12 at least give everybody top 1 or 2 a chance.
That's
Especially
a good point.
the group of 5 and like the Cincinnatis and the Houstons and those scrappy teams that's at the 8, 9, and 10. I think you give them a chance to go against the Bamas and all that kind of stuff, and it's not going to be like a TCU against Georgia in the championship. It may be a TCU versus Georgia in the first round, like the semifinal.
Can I mention something about that? Because
Yeah.
I heard TCU was the reason why Florida State did get in. Look, can I remind y'all that TCU did beat Michigan?
What'd you say on here the first thing?
Huh?
Who struggles in the playoffs? You said it on here earlier.
Yeah,
Who struggles in the playoffs?
And I also want to remind you that Georgia team last year was probably one of the greatest college football teams to ever play. Had probably
They
the
said it
greatest
won.
defense.
They said the one Bryce played was better. I heard.
Huh?
They said the one the year before was better than the Georgia one this year. The Georgia defense.
Remember they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship.
Oh, I know that's the game I scouted Bryce.
Yeah, both of those teams were elite, especially on defense.
Their defense. There was all defense.
I think they gave up 10 points in 10 points per game in those 2 years.
Yeah, they didn't give up a touchdown. I think not last year, but the year before. They didn't give up a touchdown until I think like week 12 of the season.
Yeah, that's
something crazy like that.
That Georgia team would have beat anybody that badly, maybe except for Bama.
Yeah.
And then they had They had a 27-year-old quarterback too.
Didn't Clemson blow out Alabama in the national championship a few years ago?
Yeah, when Trevor Lawrence played.
Yeah, nobody said nothing about that, but there was all set when Georgia wiped the floor with TCU.
Yeah.
And that's
who got blown out?
Team that lost to an ACC team in the
Alabama
game. They beat them like 40-17 or something like that.
Yeah, when Trevor Lawrence.
That's Sunshine though. The Sunshine was the second coming.
Don't matter. The ACC team wiped the floor with their precious SEC team. Is what happened. Blow them out. And everyone forgot about that. But then everyone would get on Georgia. Georgia just ruined it. College football just, you can't put the teams in there that deserve it because this is the result you're going to get. No, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
That ain't the only example of a team getting blown out in a national championship football game, especially recently. So, I mean, I don't like that argument. Put who deserves to be there in there.
Yeah. And again, college football is different from the NFL. NFL teams are more, you're going to have teams more equal to each other, where college football, you might have a team that's just so dominant, like your Miami Hurricanes or the Nebraska Cornhuskers, where, ain't nobody beating them. And that Georgia team last year was just
different.
Damn good.
It's different. So good that the Philadelphia Eagles drafted all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. If CJ get 2 more yards, that Georgia team ain't in the finals.
If who gets 2 more yards?
CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud get 2 more yards. That Georgia team ain't in the final.
Hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but guess who won the national championship?
Not this year.
Not this year. It ain't happening this year. They don't deserve to be there this year because they had one job. They didn't get it done.
Hey, Trey should be a coach. Trey should be a coach.
They can get it done. All I had to do was beat Bama in the SEC championship, and what we do, fold. Like they always do against Bama in the SEC championship.
I don't know.
People made a case saying Georgia should have been in the top 4. And granted, I think Georgia is one of the best teams in college football, but you got to go out there and put that on the field, like when it matters. Like beating Georgia Tech is great, but they struggled winning that game. And when I saw that, I was in Georgia because remember that game came on the night before. I was supposed to get back on the road and leave the next morning, and I stayed up a little bit longer than I wanted to, losing sleep because they made it a contest against Georgia Tech of all teams, and they barely pulled that one out. They finally got a lead big enough to where I felt comfortable where I am gonna go to sleep. They shouldn't lose this game, and I woke up and they only won by I think they won by less than 10. It wasn't a double-digit win or something. It was close, closer than I would have liked it to be. And I'm like, we got to play Bama next week. I don't like our chances because if this is foreshadowing anything right here, we are going to struggle. And Georgia came out, and they almost made me a liar because they came out in that game. They stopped Bama on defense and went down on the first possession on offense, and they scored a touchdown. I'm like, all right. maybe this is gonna be something. And then that was the only offensive drive they had up until maybe late in the second half, where they looked like a national championship football team.
Mm.
You could talk about, the catch they had on fourth down that bobbled and hit the ground, and they didn't review it, and that could have cost Georgia the game because they actually went up. They ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. Because that play they never reviewed it or whatnot. But again, I don't think that comes down to that game. Doesn't come down to that play. Like I think y'all have heard me say before that games, no matter what sports you play, games are often won and lost long before the last drive or the last shot, the last possession. You can go back into a game. You can look at the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, whatever, and you can pinpoint a couple moments where if things went a different way, then maybe things didn't go the way they go, at the end. So you can always go back in the game and look at, a few things that if you had done differently, then the outcome will be different. I don't think games are won and lost. I never believed as an athlete that games are always won and lost on the last play. Because, like I said, if things went a certain way, it doesn't come down to that situation at the end. So,
Would you say it comes down to? I think I heard something, but somebody said every game comes down to like 2 or 3 plays, and a
yeah,
lot of time.
absolutely. Absolutely. And those two or three plays will be scattered about. It won't be all in the fourth quarter. It won't be the last three drives. Sometimes one of those key plays might be towards the end, but you can always go back, like I said, early in the game, and pinpoint a moment where, okay, that was where we lost it right there. And, and it ultimately contributes to how the game ends up going, how it dictates the game, and then puts you in, these situations at the end to where you got to make up for what you didn't do earlier.
I hear
So
you.
let's staying in college. Let's stay in NCAA for a little bit. Y'all been following the Marvin Harrison and the transfer portal and how it's jumping and all that kind of stuff, and following the
Oh yeah,
recruits.
record amount of people in the transfer portal this season, including
Mm.
me. I'm about to get back in there too.
I think is they saying what Marvin Harrison's got NIL that's gonna be the same amount of his rookie contract. Travion Henderson already said he's coming back, but they lost their quarterback. A lot of teams lost quarterbacks, but I
Yeah, a
hear
lot of quarterbacks transfer. One of Georgia's backups. Went to the portal, and now he's gonna be with Kentucky next year.
oh Florida State looking at I think Cam Ward and I thought it was somebody else, but a lot of the one from Oklahoma, DJ I can't say it. I
I
Yeah,
think
know
he
what
was
you're
looking
DJ
talking
at
about.
Florida
Uziak.
State.
Yeah.
I think he was looking at Florida State.
Nah, we don't need him. He was horrible at Clemson.
Who else? Cal McCord. We said that. Dion. They lost a couple players to the portal, but they got the number one offensive tackle in the country though.
Mm.
That was a big commitment to get the number one offensive tackle and him make to say, if you a dog and you don't come to us, what you doing?
Mm.
I didn't know Shiloh had one more year eligibility either though. So
Yeah.
what y'all think about taking the the NIL and staying in school over going to the NFL?
The MIL, yeah, you right. The millions they like to
Yeah,
get.
you
Yeah,
right, the
you
meal.
right.
You like
You
that.
said
You
it.
like
You
that.
said
You
it.
like
You
that.
said yeah.
You
You
like
said it
that.
right the first time. You said it right the first time. Nah, but yeah, with football it's tricky because I feel like as dangerous as a sport as it is, you would think they pay these athletes a little bit more, and it feels like it's backwards almost. 'Cause like, especially like you look at the running back position, they're like one of the least compensated positions in football, but yet like the offensive linemen, who I guess if you think about it, they're the ones that are hitting and banging each other, not like that, each play. So obviously they deserve to be compensated for that. But you would think a sport like football, these players, these rookies coming in would be getting a lot more money. It wouldn't be, six figures. You would think, somewhere in the millions they'd be getting these contracts. But like some of these guys get signed, and depending on when they get signed, they coming in like, you know, barely getting 500, thousand, on their deal. So it's like, is it worth it if I'm standing, in college now with this NIL, and I can get significantly more? I feel like a lot more athletes will be doing that, or at least take that route and kind of wait to get into the NFL. But then you got to look at it this way too. What happens if if he does go back to Ohio State? and he gets injured. Um,
Yeah.
so you got to factor that into the equation. Now, obviously, you can get hurt any given time. Practice, you know, preseason, postseason, during the season. It doesn't really matter, especially with a sport like football. Where injuries and players are always getting hurt are very very common throughout. No matter what position you play. Um, so that has to also be weighing in his mind if he wants to, potentially play for more money by staying another year in college, but potentially risking injury when he knows long term that he wants to be a receiver in the NFL. Or he can go pro and he'll take less money, but he'll be able to, continue his father's legacy in the National Football League and potentially be, one of the first two picks to come off the board in the draft this upcoming April. So it's pros and cons to each, but I think it's all about what he wants to do, and if he's banking on himself that he'll be healthy, you know.
And I think
He
with Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm sorry, Brandon. I think with Marvin Harrison Jr., and you pointed out, Trey, I think, another decision why he decided to, have to stay at school because he don't come from the trenches. He comes from a family of money. So, he ain't going to be hurting if he do get hurt.
Yeah.
So that could probably play a role too.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's definitely tricky though. I mean,
it is.
It's me personally. I would still go to NFL just because, like you said, yeah, I'm getting this NIL deal, but if I get hurt, I ain't getting no NFL money. So now I got to expand. I got to live off this NIL deal. But teachers own.
But like you said though, if he get hurt and he don't make it, then I just go home and go back to millions. But they were like, he got first round money, but the highest NIL deal last year was $6 million. And then Onken Ocho looked it up. The 32nd pick, he got paid $12 million.
Yeah.
So that's double what the top NIL. I'm sorry, Bronny's $6 million is the top. That's the double what the top NIL deal is as a 31st round pick. I mean 31st overall pick. So like Trigger said, Marvin Harrison going top 3 picks. Man, Bryce got 40 million up front. You can get, let's say what, 45 million to probably go up a little bit, 45 million. So you probably get 43, 42 million up front guaranteed compared to $6-8 million in college. And like y'all said, y'all get hurt, anything can happen.
Yeah, I
you want to
think it's
beat
an
the team up
anomaly.
north.
I think it's an anomaly because it's just him. I think he'll be the only one. Cause like I said, he's not hurting for money. And then I've talked to guys who knew Travion. They say he's all about his studies, so he may want to get his degree. He may not even want to play in the NFL, from what I hear. Because I don't know if y'all know, he was a 4.0 student in high school, graduated a year early. So he may just be playing football just for free education. You never know. But I think Marvin Harrison Jr., he's just an anomaly. I don't think a lot of guys will do what he's doing because his background is different from a lot of these guys to where he can afford to get hurt. Not afford to get hurt, but it won't hurt him if he gets hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, if he get hurt, he just stay another year in college, and I go out in the draft and be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like y'all said. It ain't no rush for them no more. It ain't. I got to feed my family and buy the house now. And I think we need to start getting more NIL into these HBCUs in areas and all that kind of stuff, and supporting to get some top tier athletes there. Because I don't know if y'all saw the bill that the NCAA proposed. It's like, hey, let the schools pay the student athletes directly with NIL. And I'm like, if y'all do that, it's game over with the big institutions. Because
because Virginia State ain't gonna be able to afford to pay, or not Virginia State. Like what's the HB Division One? Hampton University ain't gonna be able to compete with Virginia Tech.
Right.
It's no HBCU colleges are already underfunded as it is.
Yep.
So,
and their facilities and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's Virginia State out here doing construction and building stuff, but it's just like everybody else is.
They're doing construction, but you go to a D1 school. Virginia State.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
They got that $10 million from Jeff Bezos' ex-wife Mackenzie, and they putting it to work. But yeah, they ain't messing with. I mean, Colorado locker room was what, 180 million. These locker rooms, $100 million locker room, $200 million locker room.
Yeah.
I looked at the ones with the girls' locker room when they were showing the well off video. I'm like, dang. I look at the boys' football locker room compared to everybody else's locker room. It's like, Trigger, was that like that at y'all school? Y'all locker rooms pretty much the same as football, or was it football had more?
Well, yeah, football definitely had more at CNU by far. I mean, it was crazy to me because I feel like a lot of support went to the football program. Everything that football did, it was bigger, it was blowing up more, they were putting the spotlight more, but yet they weren't having the same success that we were in the basketball program when I was there. And I felt like the basketball team needed to be highlighted a little bit more. And what I ultimately figured out was that a lot of the stuff came down to some of the people there at the school who were kind of higher up that, I guess they love football more or were more biased towards football. They had personal feelings about basketball and like, the culture and like,
Yeah.
the way that, they kind of almost associated it with like I don't know how to say it, but like it almost brought in like an aura about the school that they didn't like or that didn't fit. And like, they kind of, they never really supported us. I felt like the way that football program got supported.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they always had, they had a whole weight room pretty much to themselves, or that they used a lot, or were able to use a lot. They had a whole building with the locker room and stuff, and all these football things. Um, they had the banners and all these other stuff put up, over campus, and it was just I felt like it was always blown up, but yet they weren't really, they were winning games. They didn't like they were terrible. It's just that when it came to the postseason and whatnot, they weren't, winning conference championships and going on runs in NCAA tournaments. Like,
Ain't none of them going to Hall of Fame with
Can
you.
I, yeah, can I, yeah, can I,
well,
but
they
can
had
I
a, they
ask
had
a
a few
question
players. They
though?
had a few players that did. They had a few players.
Can I ask a question though? And I'm
Yeah,
asking because I don't know. Um, what sport was bringing in more revenue?
probably football. They were being pushed. So I mean,
Yeah.
everyone loves football. Everyone loves football. Like
Yeah.
I will watch an NFL game first before I watch any NBA game on TV.
For real?
Yes.
Cause you're a
Yeah.
Cowboys
Wow.
fan.
Because see, here's the thing too. With football, I think that it's one of those things I don't think we really stop and think about. But like when you look at it, with football, in college and the NFL, right? These guys play one game a week,
That is true.
and there is no load managing. Like teams are in positions where they need to win. Their best players are always playing unless they are legitimately hurt. When we watch baseball, basketball, like it's a long season. So if guys have these little injuries or these little nicks and dings or whatever that ain't even you can still play on, guess what they gonna do? They gonna sit out. And
Patrick Mahomes.
if there's a game on TV and I know LeBron's not playing, or if I'm watching the Miami Heat game and Jimmy Butler out of bio and all these guys are out, I'm less likely to tune in because that's who I want to come and see play. That's who I want to watch on my television screen because those are the guys who make that organization go. Those are the guys that put fans in the seats. No one's coming there to see Cole Swider. No one's coming there to see Caleb Martin. No one's paying the money to come in there to see Drew Smith. Like, those are like who are these guys? And that's no disrespect to them, but they ain't Jimmy Butler. They ain't Bam Adebayo. They ain't Tyler Hero. They ain't Duncan Robinson. We're coming to see these guys putting who are hooping on offense and getting us excited, making these exciting plays and winning games. These guys have to be on the floor to give us a chance to win. I'm not coming to see a D League guy or a guy on a two-way contract or whoever play against other teams' best players, knowing that we ain't got a chance. Like I'm not gonna watch that. But like Jalen Hurts, if take the situation right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are in a position where they don't have a lock on the Eastern, Eastern, on the NFC. The number one seed is not locked. They have the best record, but it's being threatened like heavily right now.
Well, whoever wins, if
Um,
Dallas wins Sunday, they get the number one seed.
right. That's
If
what I'm
they
saying.
win.
That's what I'm saying. So right now, as it stands, before this game takes place, Philadelphia, you can't go off on a limb like we could a few weeks ago and say, hey, Philly's going to be the team that's going to get the number one seed in the NFC and get a bye. Now,
How you transition past football? You transition
hold
past the
on,
NBA to go to
hold on.
NFL.
Let
You
me make my
skipped.
point real quick. I'm just using
He
Jalen
on the
Hurts as
Trey
an
rant. Oh,
example.
we got Trey rant.
I'm using Jalen Hurts as an example. So if the NFL season was 82 games, y'all think Jalen Hurts would be playing right
Oh
now?
no.
That's my point right there. So a lot more people tend to want to watch football over any other sport, and they love football more because the games they feel more important. It's more prestigious because it comes on once a week. Like it's not on, every single day of the week like NBA games and MLB games. Like it feels like a special occasion every Sunday. Like everything's got to be done before 1 o'clock because I'm gonna sit in front of the TV and watch football all day. Well, my team
Yep.
plays at such time. Everything got to be done before then, so I can sit down and watch this game. Like everything else stops when the Dallas Cowboys are on TV. It don't
That's why I
matter how
paid for
tired
Sunday
I
ticket and
am.
YouTube TV.
It don't matter how tired I am, how hungry I am. I will wait to eat at halftime or until the game goes over or goes off. I will wait to do anything, literally anything, before I interrupt myself watching the Dallas Cowboys play on Sunday. Just like everybody else and their favorite NFL teams. Like the Miami Heat, they play what, 3-4 games a week, maybe? All right, I might watch maybe one of those games. I'm not watching all 4 of them.
You make a great point, Trey, because you got pastors out here ending church service at 12:30 so they can get home and watch football.
Yes, they ain't doing that for
Mm-hmm.
NBA games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't never heard of it. Oh man, look, man, the Lakers play at 3 o'clock. We got to get out of here by 2. I want to see
Hey.
LeBron.
Yeah.
You ain't never heard that a day in your life. You ain't never been to church and heard them. Hey, look, the NBA Finals on. We gotta go.
What route we going down? Because I'm ready to get my segue. We going NBA. We going NFL.
Let's go NFL. You know what? Let's talk about these Cowboys.
All right, Miles.
Well,
You got the win last week.
I think they won, but I think the shit got real. They got exposed. That defense got exposed. Deron Bland, he ain't
You
who
got
we
the win in
thought
the
he
picket
was.
last week.
He ain't who he thought he was. Yeah, he'll get his picks. He's like Trayvon.
Oh yeah, he got to be.
He'll get his picks, but he'll give up some
4-man
yards
dig
and
right there.
touchdowns as well.
Yep.
Dak did his thing. I can't knock Dak. He did his thing, but the defense was exposed. The secondary was exposed. Michael Parsons, yeah, he got that play on the last play, but he was pretty much non-existent again, except for that last play.
Yep.
They showing weakness, and this is what happens every year. They get exposed around late November, early December, and then they get picked on. I don't know if they'll beat Philly because Philly's struggling, but I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I honestly do.
Yeah.
I think y'all beat Philly.
Yeah, I have us beating Philly. And I know Dallas hasn't really played the strongest competition as of late, but to me, the way they've been playing football, the way they've been dominating most of these games, outside of the 2 wins that were close against Seattle and the Chargers, but the way they've dominated all the other wins, like it hasn't even been close. Hasn't been close. I feel like if a team that's really going to be competing in the postseason to potentially go to a Super Bowl, if anybody else in the league was doing what Dallas was doing in all of their wins, I feel like they'd be getting, put on the pedestal. Like San Fran, for instance, they're the only team that's doing it. I don't even think San Fran has as many 40-point games as Dallas does on the season. Or they haven't been blowing out opponents the way that Dallas has been this season. But those 2 teams, San Fran and Dallas, they have been, beating teams by at least 2 scores in most of their wins.
But look what they did to Dallas and Philly, Trigger. They beat both of them teams by.
They did, yeah.
Dallas ain't
the breaks.
And you know what's even scarier? Like they beat Dallas 42-10. Dak had 3 turnovers, and all of them were absolutely
Without
horrible.
Hufanga. They didn't have Hufanga against the Eagles.
And then the Eagles, if you think about it, the only thing I could say that the Eagles did bad in that game was that they went down their first 2 drives and they kicked field goals.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the ball relatively easy on the 49ers defense, and then the defense tightened up and they made them settle for 3. And you know what? I had, and a lot of these times, man, I hate being, an an athlete because I can see stuff coming from a mile away. It ain't necessarily got to be basketball, but I've watched enough football, and I just have the athletic instinct sometimes where like I know when something's about to happen. It's almost like I'm on the field with them. So like when I'm watching the game with the 49ers and the Eagles, I'm watching the Eagles move the ball on the field. The first two possessions the Niners had the ball, they went 3-and-out. And Philly went down their first two possessions and got field goals. And after they kicked that second field goal and went up 6-0, it's like something came over me. I immediately think to myself like, these MFers went down the field twice, and both times they kicked a field goal. All the Niners have to do is score a touchdown, and they're up. And that's exactly what they did. They went down, scored a touchdown. I was like, well, the floodgates about to open up now. I just had a feeling, man. And it's like the Eagles were playing really, really hard, and they only got 6 points in the first two possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, they really worked hard just to get 6 against that team. When you got to put up touchdowns, when you get in the red zone to give yourself a chance, you're not gonna win this game. And I picked the Niners to win the game, but I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than what it was. More competitive than 49ers versus Dallas, obviously. I did not have the Niners coming in there and beating them the way they did. And Philly didn't even really make any mistakes. That's the crazy part. Like Jalen Hurts wasn't out there turning the ball over. I think, like I said, the only mistakes they made was they went down the first couple of possessions. Like, remember I told you how games are won and lost long before the last possession? That's where Philly lost the game at right there on the first two possessions when they went down there and kicked field goals. Now I think if they went down and they went up 14-0, they done forced the Niners into 2 3-and-outs, and as a result, both times they go back and score touchdowns and go up 14-0. I think you have a different game. That changes the tone of that game if Philly goes up 14-0 on what people are calling the best team in the football in the National Football League. But the fact that they only scored 6, the 49ers are like, all right, we went 3-and-out 2 times. They only got 6 points. Like, all right, we good. And I think they settled in after that. And obviously, they went down and scored a touchdown, went up 7-6. And after that, they never looked back. Philly was never the same team after that. And again, like I said, Philly wasn't out there going 3-and-out. They weren't turning the ball over. I think they could have, I think they abandoned the run game a little bit more than I would like to have seen them run the ball a little bit more and not go away from that so early. But I think the fact that Philly went down and they didn't hit them early with the touchdowns, that lost them the game. And obviously the 49ers, they went up and they made some plays. And Philly, they played great football. Or not great football, but they played, they did everything right. And they still got blown out. So I don't really know.
You don't think they lost it when they wrote a check that they asses couldn't cash and they talked all this stuff and
yeah,
it just seemed like they didn't have it in this whole week. They was talking all this mess, but you ain't playing your best football, and these boys out here winning.
Hey, fellas, I'll be back. I'll be back.
All right.
Yep.
Like these boys out here winning. Like you not even playing your best ball, and you out here talking crap like this. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think obviously that plays into the things because obviously the locker room, bulletin board material. Like coaches they watch these shows where they're in the media and they're talking about certain guys, and you might hear something and they'll say something that might like this might be something that motivates our guys. Let's clip this up. They might read something in the paper. Hey, let's clip this up and put it on the bulletin board here or in the locker room so everybody can see what they're saying about us. So obviously, there was talk after the NFC Championship game last year. Like Deebo Samuel said it after they lost to them in Philly last year that he felt like if they would have had Brock Purdy, that game's not even close. And they lost Brock Purdy early in that game. So
and that game was not close.
He was not lying about that because they came into Philly, and that's another thing about it too. It was in Philly. Just like the NFC Championship game was in Philly. So I like the fact that this game, this rematch was taking place in Philadelphia. Because obviously they said, well, the 49ers have been at home and they beat them 42-19 like they did the Cowboys because the Cowboys went out to San Francisco and lost 42-10. Obviously that would have had, they would have downplayed like, oh, San Francisco was at home, blah, 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 whatever. But they went into Philly The same place they ended their season last year, they went into Philly and not only like won the game, they dominated them. And like it was just a flat out whipping. Just plain and simple. The 49ers played absolutely flawless outside of the first two possessions. And Philly just, they got beat down, man. They got beat down, and only one of two things will happen as a result of that. They're going to come in on Sunday and they're going to look like a completely different team and be hitting on all cylinders against Dallas, or it's going to, propel them further into a spiral. We might see them come undone here, especially with Jalen Hurts not being 100%. We might see them come undone here in the last few weeks, going into the playoffs. So
Jalen Hurts looked hurt. He looked hurt in the Bills game. Like he looks hurt. Like his body. I think he went on a Super Bowl run. Like most people, the next year don't come back like that. Y'all come back and y'all winning close games. Y'all playing tough games, and it takes a toll, especially.
it does. They have a long season. You have a shorter time to recover versus everyone else. And then another thing too, I noticed in the San Francisco game, man, they stopped running the ball with him late in that game. I felt like there was some times where you know he could have took off, or they could have called some plays where I think they were fourth and short a couple times, a third and short, and normally what we see, the little tush push, for that yard to get that first down, and they went away from it. I remember one fourth down play, man, they lined up like they were going to do something different. I think he may have even been in the shotgun on like fourth and short. I'm like, he's definitely like that right there told me that something's wrong because
Right.
would have the Eagles
Ever did a
needing a
shotgun.
yard backed up in the shotgun and had him behind center where like he was going to drop back and hand it off to somebody or they won't throw it. Like never. Them guys have not been stopped with that tush push at all. Every time they've run it, they've gotten what they needed. And I feel bad that, Roger Goodell's trying to come down on them and ban that play because we've seen other teams try to do it and they fail.
They can't
It's
do it.
not like they try to still has a major advantage or whatnot, or it's not a real football play. But I'm like, the Eagles do it, they're really good at it. But we had some other teams try it, man, and they're not successful. So maybe it's not as easy as it looks. Maybe it doesn't give you a guaranteed advantage like we thought it would, which I feel like is enough evidence. Like, okay, well, we've seen other people do this and they don't get away with it. It's not as easy for them, leave it in there.
Yep.
That'd be another reason the Philly fans be like, oh well, we too good. They're trying to take our players away from us and give them something else to whine and complain about. I ain't trying to hear all that. I need them to have every advantage that they can have. Because if a game comes down to them having to, convert a 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, and they done banned the tush push, and they go for it on 4th down and don't get it, you already know what they're gonna say. They took our play away from us.
Yep.
We can't run the tush. We can't do whatever. Like we would have won that game if they let us do the tush push. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want them to have that as no excuses. Let them
Yeah.
have a little tush push. Let them have it. Hey, that's their thing. They're good at it. Whatever. But yeah, I think that he's hurt because like I said, there were some opportunities that he could have ran that ball in the second half, and they had him do something different. So yeah, and obviously if the Cowboys win this game on Sunday, that's going to be another reason why the Cowboys win because they're going to say Jalen Hurts wasn't 100%. Like they moved the goalposts with the Seattle game and said that they're over 500, which that was the whole debate. The Cowboys can't beat anybody at 500 or better. Seattle was 500 or better. And it's like, oh, well, they were playing bad the last 3 or 4 weeks in there. Did they have a winning record?
You said who?
Seattle. Like Seattle played bad football the last 3 or 4 weeks. Were they still over 500 when they played Dallas? Yes. We beat a team that was 500 better.
But
Correct.
their secondary was in turmoil and they benched their star rookie from last year. So
I think it's amazing how others, it's weird because all the Cowboys wins, most of the wins they've been playing from ahead. And everyone's like, oh, if Dak Prescott's gonna take that next step, we got to see him, be able to uh, construct, be able to orchestrate orchestrate some drives from behind to win games, and that's what he did against Seattle. Um,
Can I
Dallas
play conspiracy theorist?
in that game. I'll make this point real quick. In that game, it felt like Seattle was going to win because Dallas was up um, in the first half. And then Seattle came in and scored right before the half ended, went up 21-20, got the ball back to start the third, went down and scored another touchdown, went up 28-20. And I was like, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game because, it's the perfect recipe. Dallas had all the hype going into this game. They wanted to start, we're going to beat Seattle by 10 or more points. I think the spread was like 13 or something like that. And they're like, oh, Geno Smith's going to turn the ball over because he's hurt. Dak Prescott's gonna have a field day. It's just gonna be, Dallas. They're
Gotcha.
gonna rule the day, and that was the complete opposite. Ended up being a tight game, and I felt like because of that, how close it was, and we were even down. That once Dallas gets down, they can't come back and win because we've seen it happen against the Cardinals. They didn't come back. They got down early against San Fran. They didn't come back. They got down to Philadelphia double digits in the third quarter, and they didn't come back. And I'm like, all right, well, they got down against, this team. Still time left, but the way this game is going, they ain't coming back. But they did. They did. Dak Prescott, my quarterback, made some plays. They went down, retook the lead, stayed ahead, ended up winning the game.
So you think let me see. My conspiracy theorist thing. Who was two of the most scrutinized quarterbacks coming into this year?
Coming into this year,
Dak and Tua. Dak and Tua. So what
Tua.
do they say? Tua, can he play in the league? Is he not gonna have concussions? Is his body
Okay, yeah,
healed?
with the concussion
Yeah.
thing, yeah, I got you.
So what do they say about both of these teams? Can they win the big games? Can they beat the good teams? Can they do all this kind of stuff?
Yep, because they both have wins against teams under 500. Well, all of their wins, at least.
Are the NFL building up the Cowboys and the Dolphins for a Super Bowl?
I tell you what, it would be a high scoring affair. Um, I think it'll be a fun game to watch, and it'd be funny if that does happen. But they do have a lot of similarities if you look at them. I feel like the
They can
Dolphins
score the
aren't getting talked
points.
about. Yeah, I don't think they get talked about. Like the Dallas Cowboys are, obviously because Dallas is Dallas, and everyone loves to talk about the Cowboys. But like I said, you look at both teams. All of their wins have come against teams who aren't very good, and their losses have come against teams who are good. And you know, it's they're kind of and they're get both in the top five or top three when it comes to scoring. Like the Dolphins put up numbers, the Cowboys put up numbers. I think the Cowboys' defense is a little bit better than theirs, though. I think we have better pass rushers. I think we got the better. I think we got the better secondary. Jalen Ramsey is still coming in and trying to find his footing.
Jalen
Um,
Ramsey, Xavier Howard.
yeah,
What's the safety name? Safety's the top Holland. Y'all got the better. Duran Bland got picked on, man. Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard would
yeah, it was
never.
one game. Yeah, one game. Deron Bland, got absolutely torched. Now I agree with that. He looked horrible. Even when he got the pick, on Tyler Lockett, that still didn't do enough to erase him giving up all them yards to DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, everyone he was on was just taking turns eating on that man. Like he was just
But like,
getting tortured.
but like y'all say, is he getting all these plays because he's getting the ball thrown at him?
Yes,
Like, is that why he's getting
100%.
all these? Like, ain't nobody else
Yeah,
over there but him and this person. Like, you getting the ball
Mhm.
thrown at you, so you should be capitalized on these plays. And
yeah.
is that
When you
something
get
that you worry about going into the playoffs against these
very
teams that
much
are going to
so.
be?
Very much so. Very much so. Obviously, the more thrown balls his way, the more opportunity he has to make a play on the ball or get burnt. And
Right.
in this day and age, it's very hard to play defense as it is. The NFL has put in all these rules to, benefit the offensive player. And, you really got to play textbook solid defense. You can't really be all over these receivers and, all the hand fighting, the pushing and shoving and grabbing and all that like they used to do, years ago. All that stuff now they're very picky about. You have to be very aware of that as a defender, that you don't pick up any cheap penalties, and you cost your team that way. So yeah, it's going to be hard for him because he's trying to he's guarding the other team's best receiver or their second best receiver, and that's tough in itself.
Yeah.
Add in, all the advantages the receiver gets playing up against a cornerback. When that ball is in the area, like you're very limited as a defender what you can and can't do when that ball is in the air and it's thrown your way and you're on one of the best receivers, you know, on the field. So I think he's going to get more opportunities to make plays because they're going to continue to throw at him, especially after that performance against the Seahawks last Thursday. But at the same time, I'm looking at it this way too. Just as much as they have, or other teams have opportunities of getting the ball down the field on him with whoever he's guarding, there's also an opportunity for him to make a play for the Cowboys. And I think that's what's going to be critical for us moving forward as we play these better teams is that, our pass rush has to be on their game. I feel like our pass rush, we've been there, but we ain't been close enough. Like we were in Geno's line of sight, but not close enough to make him get rid of that ball just a second earlier than he wanted to maybe cause some bad throws, some tip balls or something like that, so where the Dallas Cowboys defense could be more opportunistic when it came to that. So I think the key to our secondary being able to be successful is that our pass rush helping speed things up, at the line of scrimmage. If the quarterback has time to throw the ball, anytime at all, and he doesn't need a lot of it, but if the quarterback is back there dancing and waiting and there's no pressure in his face, at some point, eventually someone's going to come open. Like you can't cover but for so long. So that pass rush has got to win. That pass rush has got to get home and force, even if they don't get the sack, make him uncomfortable. Have him throw it on the run. If he's throwing the ball across his body, getting rid of it early, I think all of those will eventually turn into opportunities for the defense to get takeaways. And then, Deron Bland ain't got to worry about having to cover a whole lot. And, every single play because the pass rush is not getting to the quarterback. It makes him look a little bit better. But if that pass rush can't get home, it's going to be a long day for him and Gilmore. I think.
Yeah, because Gilmore, he can hold for a little. Like Stephon can do what he has to do to hold it, but he ain't gonna be sitting out here running with a Tyreek Hill or somebody all day long. Like
Oh no.
that
Oh
ain't gonna
no.
happen for 4 quarters.
Mm-mm.
Um, the Eagles, I worry because maybe they saw the tape on y'all, just like y'all see the tape on them, and AJ Brown goes out there and has himself a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Another
and then
big
they
physical receiver like the DK Metcalf. They have the same build. Him, Metcalf, and Debo Samuel. They all like the big, just fast receivers.
it ain't gonna get your schedule don't get easier either. So this ain't a get
No.
right game for the defensive line either because you going up against one of the best offensive line, although they are hurt at the moment.
We got
But
a bunch of those coming up, a team with good offensive lines. So, yeah, pass rush is going to be key against these good offensive lines. And I saw a statistic earlier today saying that out of all the teams right now who are eligible for the playoffs, like if the playoffs started today, all the teams that's in it, the Cowboys have the toughest schedule remaining in the regular season of all those teams. So we're gonna find out about Dallas. I think Dallas was the first. I think Baltimore was second on the list for the second toughest schedule. I think in Detroit and Miami were on there as well. Two teams who will be playing soon. I forget what the fifth team was, but those were the four teams I remember. Dallas
Kansas
one,
City,
Baltimore two, Kansas City wasn't on the list. Miami, was I think number 4, and I think Detroit was number 5. I forget who number 3 was.
You said Baltimore, 49ers,
Wasn't San Fran.
Dallas, Detroit. You sure y'all want 3?
No, we were number 1 because our next 4 games: Philly,
Oh, you
Buffalo.
said toughest schedule.
Yeah, Philly, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, and then we got Washington to finish the season. But
It's
these
probably
next 4
Buffalo.
games, I think Buffalo was the 3rd team. Now that I think about it,
Buffalo got a tough schedule coming up too.
yeah, I think Buffalo might have been that 3rd team.
Jacksonville got a tough schedule because they got to play Carolina.
Yeah, they went on there.
So, what do you think about my note on Bryce Young from the interview?
Oh Lord,
What game you watching? Celtics, Knicks.
yeah, Jaylen Brown like he just got teed up. He's
Yeah.
trying to go after somebody. They throw him
Celtics
out.
coming back. They coming back. I mean, the Knicks coming back. Oh, they tossed them.
The Knicks were down 20 in the 3rd quarter. Yeah, they threw him out.
So, what you think about the end season tournament? I mean, we in NBA. I mean, we in NFL. I mean, all right. So, no, you gotta get your rant out. Do your rant. Get your rant out. Was that your rant?
About what? The Cowboys?
Yeah, all your Cowboys, your Georgia, you ain't get to do your rant. Amber, I'm sorry, Lady Ray want to hear your weekly segment of the Trey rant.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in Georgia. I really am because like I said, I felt bad about them against Georgia Tech in that game. And like I said, with football, man, a lot of times a team can foreshadow what's to come by the way they played a week before, against the type of competition. And I felt like the 3 weeks before the Georgia Tech game, we played the top competition, the best competition we played all year. And that's what propelled us back into the number 1 spot because originally we fell out. They put Ohio State ahead of us. We were number 2. And we went and won those 3 games against Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Missouri, who were all ranked inside the top 15. And Georgia dominated. And then we went and played against Georgia Tech, and we barely won. I was like, if that team shows up against Alabama, we're going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. Alabama didn't deserve to be in the playoff, obviously. I feel like, especially after the week before, they went, to a 6-6 Auburn team who got blasted. Auburn got blasted by New Mexico State the week before. And you guys need a miracle on 4th and goal from the 30-yard line to win that game. No way. That alone should have kept them out. I don't care if they won the SEC championship against the number 1 team in the country. That performance right there alone should have kept them out of the college playoff. You barely, you winning a nail biter against Auburn. Auburn? What has Auburn done? And now you got a chance to go play for a national championship. That don't make sense to me. I'm sorry. It just don't. But anyway, it's supposed to be about Georgia. Georgia has got to beat Alabama when it matters. Yes, they did beat them in the national championship 2 years ago. I got that. What about the SEC championship? Because Georgia lost to them in the SEC championship that same year they won the national championship. They played Alabama twice. And they lost the first time because that's what we do. That's the championship against Alabama. Georgia always loses. What is it with Kirby Smart? Why can't you beat Nick Saban in an SEC championship game? In Atlanta. The game is in Georgia. The game is practically a home field. It's a home game for you guys. You play all these games at neutral sites like that. Like, how you losing in Atlanta every year? How you continue to lose in Atlanta every single year to the same team? You don't know this man that well enough yet. You don't got a game plan good enough yet. You got the portal and everything like that. Nick Saban ain't got the best players no more. Alabama ain't winning every year no more. Come on now, it's baffling to me. Some of these things in sports just don't like. Certain coaches just have an edge over other coaches. I just don't understand. It's not like we're an inferior team. I still feel like Georgia has a better team than Alabama does, but we didn't play like it. I don't understand. But yeah, Georgia lost that game. I didn't even try to make a case for them to be in the college playoffs, other than the fact that if y'all want the best teams in there, y'all know who the best teams are, and then Georgia should be in. But because we're not going off solely that, then yeah, absolutely need to be sitting at home watching. Yeah, go to the what is it? I don't even know what the daggone bowl game is that we're playing in for Florida State.
Didn't
They go to
they
the bowl
canceled all the
game.
press conference, didn't they? Because they worried y'all was gonna be y'all weren't gonna show up or something. You in
I
Florida
don't know.
State?
I mean, yeah, that would be. But I understand Florida State don't show up. I would fully understand them not showing up. Georgia ain't got no excuse. Florida State is undefeated. They won the conference championship. Georgia, not undefeated, didn't win the conference championship. They got nothing to be mad about, except for at themselves. They had their destiny in their own hands, and they blew it. Florida State did all those things, went undefeated, won their conference championship, and lost their quarterback, something they couldn't control. Destiny was not in their hands. Yet they still went out and did what everyone asked them to do, and it wasn't good enough. All Georgia had to do was beat Alabama, and you win. Y'all didn't want to go be great. Y'all didn't want to go and try to go for the 3P. Can't go for the 3P if you can't compete for the 3P. Don't play your little bowl game against Florida State. They'll probably lose that one too. And maybe we'll
And
go into
Florida,
next year. We'll retool, come back better, and things will be better as a result. I don't know, but they really
Florida State
played
can't
tough.
beat Georgia. They can't beat Georgia in that game. That man, shit. They'll burn the college committee down if Florida State go out there and beat Georgia with a second string quarterback.
And that would be even more reason if Florida State won that game. Will be even more reason why they should have been, because that's the whole narrative, right? They want these SEC teams in there, and all these other teams can't beat them. You know, if it ain't the SEC versus SEC championship game, you know, we might as well just throw the whole thing away. But if Florida State goes and they beats Georgia in this bowl game they have at the end of the month, they really gonna be kicking themselves. Like, oh man, maybe we should have. They went in with a backup quarterback and beat, you know, the team who was number one in college football for most of the year. Like they gonna revisit that.
And y'all
I
was
mean,
healthy too, weren't y'all?
well, yeah, kind of. I mean, we had a couple guys who, you know, I talk about Jalen Hurts and how he didn't look like himself, and the Philadelphia Eagles didn't call certain plays, you know, that they normally would call because they're trying to, you know, keep them putting the quarterback in situations where they'll further aggravate his injuries or whatever he has going on with them. Georgia was doing the same thing with some of their receivers, some of the big time receivers that got them there. So yes, they were banged up and they didn't look like themselves at all. But I've seen them win games without, you know, the same receivers, the same players being, you know, beat up and hurt. So no excuse. I'm not using no excuses. The receivers were hurt, whatever. You're out there on the field, make something happen. I'm not blaming it on the play where, again, Alabama on the fourth down, the ball bobbles, hits the turf. They don't review it. They keep the drive alive and they go down and score a touchdown. I'm not gonna say that cost us the game. We lost that game because Georgia couldn't stop them when they needed to most. And our offense punted way too many times. And they shut our run game down.
Nick Kirby Smart's from Nick Saban tree, isn't he?
Yes.
You think Nick Saban got his card on him? Or got
absolutely, but I'm like, well, you coached under Nick Saban, so like you need to have you ain't got nothing on him.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. Like you come from that same tree. Like y'all know each other. Y'all play each other every single year in the SEC championship game. Y'all this rivalry y'all got is like it's well documented. Y'all don't play each other enough times. You know, coach under this man, you should know what he likes to do, what he in what situations, and be prepared for it. Like I said, I don't think especially recent years here, we're coming off 2 national championship wins. I don't think that Alabama had a better team than Georgia did in that SEC championship game a few days ago. I don't. I still feel like Georgia has the better team. They just didn't play well. They didn't play up to the standard.
I don't think that deserved to drop him down to 6 by any means.
Yeah, I feel like that was too dramatic. I still feel like if this was a regular season And the number one team loses to the number 8 team, the number one team would drop down to like 3 or 4, maybe 5, but like 6 was a little egregious to me. I thought, but I wasn't surprised. I felt like when they put up the top 6 teams, the first 2 out, I was like, yeah, Georgia will probably be 6, and I already had the top 4, and then Florida State at 5, and obviously filled in the other 4, Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Texas. But yeah, they want the Alabama Texas rematch, and I won't be surprised if them 2 teams ended up in the national championship because they played. That right there has more of a story of all the matchups they could have. They could have Michigan and Texas in the championship. It won't have the same appeal. They could have Michigan and Washington in the national championship. Definitely not going to have the same appeal. You could have Alabama versus Washington in the national championship. It'll end up being another Georgia TCU outing, if I think. But none of that going to have the same appeal. Alabama, Texas, there's already a story there. They already got that one printed up in the media. They got the clips and everything ready to roll right now. And they ain't even played the first games yet. They're going to go back and show the clips of what happened in Tuscaloosa, in week 3 or week 4, whenever it was, when Texas rolled in there and beat Alabama by 10. They're going to have it up there. They're going to have the struggles that Alabama went through. They're going to have the clips of Milroe getting benched after that game and then coming back to glory, being the starter again and going on and winning the SEC championship against the number 1 team and knocking them out of the college playoff. Like, it's going to be all this build-up. Texas, and what they've done and how good they've looked. Like, the stage is already set, brother. The stage is already set. I'm telling you, Texas and Alabama will meet in the national championship game. And Texas better win. Better win again. That's all I got to say about that.
My mic was muted. So is this the passing of the torch for Quinn Ewers to Arch Manning?
We going to find out.
Because, I mean, it's going to be some matchups next year with the Big Ten and the SEC. It's going to be a lot of good matchups.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I forgot to mention, too. Texas is about to join the SEC, so they're going to have that. And like, oh, Texas is coming to join. You see a preview of what, what's to come in the future when Texas joins the SEC. Will they be able to hang, with the SEC teams? Because they look at the SEC as one of the most, if not the most dominant conference in all of college football. And all these colleges trying to come in and be a member. And they're like, well, they wipe the floor with y'all. They wipe the floor with Texas. They wipe the floor with Washington. They wipe the floor with all these teams. Anybody that comes to the SEC, they don't see them as we on the same level as them. But Texas will have a chance to prove that.
Yep.
For real, for a national title.
Stand on business. You're going to have to stand on business.
Exactly. See if they can stand on business. And they did it once. Now they got to do it again. One more time. But yeah, man, tell me, this is the money series right here. This is why Alabama's in there. Like, yeah, you can make a case for Alabama being in there, just like you can make a case for them not being in there. So like, no one was really surprised that Alabama got in, but this is what they're going towards. Texas is coming to the SEC. Let's seed them and get them to match up against each other in the national championship, and get us a little preview of what's to come. They already got history. They don't play each other once already, in the regular season. And Texas got the best of them at home. How's Alabama going to respond? How's Jalen Milroe going to look this time around? He didn't look so hot the first time. How's he going to look this time around? He played great against Georgia, knocked off the number 1 team in the nation, won the SEC championship. Is he going to do it against Texas when it matters?
Can you hear me?
Man, all the stories that's going to be around this game, man. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be. This is what college football wants. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Go ahead. I was making sure you hear me.
This is what college football wants right here. And as a fan, this is what I want. I want to see Texas and Alabama play again. If Alabama gonna be there, even though I don't think they deserve it over Florida State, if they're gonna be in it, well, I want them to be. I want them to be in the national championship game against Texas. I want them to lose. I don't want Alabama to lose in Michigan. I want Alabama to beat Michigan.
You
I
got
want
to
to
get
see
that
Alabama
money.
lose. I want to see Alabama. Yeah, they got to get that money. I want to see Alabama suffer in the national championship game.
You think they won't try to give? Bless you.
Thank you.
You think they won't try to give Jim Harbaugh one to get him up out there, like they did with Peyton?
I think Jim Harbaugh likes being there, though. I don't think it's
Them
He
sanctions
already
about to
came
come
out.
down, brother. You know that.
He already came out and said that's where he wanted to be because there was rumors going around earlier in the season about him potentially coming back to the NFL and coaching. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think he likes like Deion Sanders said, about him potentially coming in and coaching NFL play. He's like, nah, man, I have a thing with kids. You know, this is where I want to be. It's where I feel like I need to be. I think Jim Harbaugh kind of feels the same way, at least right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan beat Alabama. 'Cause like I said, I don't feel like Alabama's this great of a team.
I
Everyone's making them
think.
out to be right now. I feel like again, the better team did not win in the SEC championship. But
Yeah, because is it the Alabama thing where they show up in the SEC championship and then they don't show up in the playoff? Like, is that a thing for Alabama?
no,
You
that's why
think
I
you
said
think Georgia beat them the second time?
the second
I'm saying,
time, I think they do.
yeah.
I think they do. We've done it before. Like 2 years ago when they won the national title, they lost to Alabama in Atlanta with the SEC title, and then they met up in the national championship, and Georgia won. So I think they have it in them if they were to play again, that Georgia would come out victorious.
I think they should have did. I think it should have been Texas. I mean Michigan, Bama, Texas, Georgia. That would have been a good Final Four.
Yeah, Michigan, Texas. Yeah, I mean that would have been any one of those matchups would have been money. Any one of
Yeah.
those matches have been money. But the teams that's in it right now, um, uh, the most money is going to come from Alabama Texas matchup, in my opinion.
I put in the chat. I was like, they got the teams on the West coming East to play, and then they got the teams on the East going West to play. Like I found that weird.
Yeah, I didn't even really thought of that either. So yeah, it is kind of strange how that worked out.
I mean, I understand they do it because they got the right to the bowls, but come on now, like we can make it make sense and make money. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't, this whatever. I mean, I don't think anyone's mad about it, but yeah, I did think that was interesting. But anywho, I think it's gonna be a fun time. College football. The playoff. You got the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, then you got the national title game. Like it's a fun time to start off the year. Um, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens and what these teams do, and see if our predictions come true. Who meets up in the national title game? Who wins it? You know, I'm just hoping for a nice competitive outing from all four teams. I'm hoping for Washington, to at least make it competitive because right now I feel like everyone's like, obviously we know about Michael Penix and what he's done,
yep.
but I think people still aren't giving Washington their just due because they're obviously the odd team out and all the ones that are there because Bama, they beat some legitimate opponents, and obviously the name, the culture, the championship culture that they built there, like that speaks for itself. Michigan, they've always seemed to have good teams, be a powerhouse. The name always comes up. They have big games against Ohio State every year. With that rivalry, people know about Michigan football. Jim Harbaugh there, doing what he's been doing since he's been there. You got Texas. who's obviously had the big win against Alabama earlier this season. They went on to have a pretty dominant year. Deserves to be there. You know, will probably fare well against top competition because again they beat Bama. Washington, they beat Oregon twice. And for whatever reason, people still don't give them their credit. They still feel like against Michigan, against Alabama, against Texas, that they won't match up well against them. And I'm hoping that they, even if they do win, that would make me happy for them. I'm like, oh, they win the game against one of them teams, like it's a national championship. You're not
Right.
watching win a national championship. That would be something. Even more talks about Florida State getting in with the backup quarterback. So I mean, but yeah, I just hope for them that they don't come in and get smacked, by Texas. Although I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Um, I just hope that for a nice, close, respectable contest against a good Texas football team. That way,
no
people don't, because you talk about the best four teams in football, a lot of people ain't putting Washington in that category, even though they went undefeated and won the conference championship. People are skipping over Washington, and they're not the first team that pops in their head when you're talking about who the best four college football teams are in the nation. And it's probably about 6 or 7 teams you probably put above them before you include them in the conversation. We already named 4, Michigan, Ohio State, or Michigan, Bama, Georgia. Was it Ohio State the 4th team we said, or Texas? And you can put Ohio State in there. You can put Penn State in there, and then maybe Washington. I don't know, but yeah,
I like
a lot
you
of
said. I
people
just
don't
want to
have
see the
them in the
4
top
best
10.
matchups. Yeah, I just want to see the 4 best matchups. They gonna like the best matchups we can get.
Yeah,
And
I like it.
I
like
just
it.
I worry about Washington. I gotta. You think Michael Penix top 5 pick?
I think so. I think so.
Ooh,
Yeah, especially if Shador and Caleb Williams decide to come back to school next year. I think he makes the cut there.
you think? So all right, you think he's top 5? Who do you think picks him up?
Mm. Now, see, that's gonna be the question because like some of these teams who need a quarterback, they're gonna want Caleb Williams. Um, if they have to settle for Penix or somebody else, knowing that they could potentially get a Caleb Williams or Shador Sanders the following year. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
I don't know.
They
I
were
mean,
saying if Marvin Harrison stays in, we may draft him the year after next.
yeah, that's the thing because this NIL man, that's gonna mess up some people's draft and like what they're trying to do because these NFL teams got fan bases they're trying to appeal to too. Like that's the other part of it. Like yes, they want to win football games and they want to compete, but they also want to put butts in the seats. And those fans are only going to want to come to games when certain players are playing. You can have a good player on a bad football team and still have fans come out and see. If you ain't got them type of players, it'll be hard. And then you end up losing your fan bases, and you end up moving, or you don't get enough revenue coming in from the fans. You got empty seats in the stadiums and stuff, and then you have to either relocate to another city and start over again. Um, but I think that the teams that need a wide receiver, if Marvin Harrison Jr. decides to go back to school next year, that's another year they're gonna have to go and try to figure something out. Like, do you draft, a really good wide receiver? Or do you just try to draft a receiver, just someone that okay, well, we'll probably have a shot at Marvin Harrison Jr. next year, maybe. You know, I don't know. Or maybe you draft your best receiver and hope that you can still get him next year. I don't know, but it's a little tricky for some of these teams because they're projecting certain guys to be in the draft. But some of these guys, when I think in the past, before the NIL came out, in the past they would kind of be like, all right, I'm joining the draft. Like I'm not going to play in the bowl game or whatever. Like I'm going to the draft. Um, Now you have more more of these guys, they're kind of like, I don't know, like, the NIL, like, I want to take one year in school, like, I'm gonna be making money here, or why rush, going to
Right.
the draft, like,
Yeah.
it's that whole thought process now that it's not as certain, it's not a lock anymore, um, for these guys to just automatically just, all right, season's over with, I'm going pro, like 1 year and I'm going pro, like we're seeing more and more
Right.
guys now, you know, go to school for 2 years, 3 years, all 4 years, and then they go and turn pro. So yeah, that could trick some things up for these NFL teams who, have certain guys on their radar based off of the record and where they finish, and what pick they're getting in the draft. They might have to end up settling for like a whole other player versus who they thought they were going to get because these guys, the NIL money now, they're really stretching their years out in school and they're taking their time,
Right.
with turning pro. So,
Yeah.
you know,
You can
you
learn
got,
the game more. You can learn more of the fundamentals. Like
yeah,
I
that's
think
true too. Exactly. And you got
more situational basketball.
some teams like the Chicago Bears right now, they're in the spot where they could have 2 picks in the top 5, I believe, or something crazy like that. And they might not get the 2 players that they want because the 2 players that they're aiming for may spend another year in school. So who do they go to? And then you got to watch them come in the draft next year and go to another team. So I mean, it can really ruin some plans for some teams. And I don't know. It's just it's crazy now. It's crazy. It's crazy what these kids have a decision. Yeah, going pro ain't the end all be all right now. These kids stay in college and make money too. And like you said, learn the game, learn the fundamentals. You know, I
Yep.
know they ain't playing against professionals in college, but I do believe that the more college ball you play, the more the sharper you become, and the more NFL ready you will be versus coming in just going one and done and trying to learn on the fly at the NFL level.
You think you now going on that? Do you think on the NFL level they do one and done 'em, or you think they need that college buffer?
I feel like if they stayed in college, that would help them. I really think that staying in college and working on your skills and getting ready for the next level will prepare you the best. Um,
Especially when you're getting money nowadays too to stay in college, millions.
yep, I understand the best competition. You're not playing against the best competition in the world. Like in the pros while you're in college. But I think that like look at Jaquez Jr. in Miami.
Yeah,
Went to UCLA all 4 years, and look at how he's contributing to this team right now.
you
Like
saw him
he's
in the
coming
dunk
in.
contest
No, I didn't see that.
against Drake London and Kenyon Martin Jr.
Mm-mm.
Oh, this ain't working. I got an echo.
Yeah, but Hawkins Jr., I feel like if he had went pro a year after going to UCLA, he probably wouldn't be the same player. He probably wouldn't be even seeing the floor as much as he has been right now. Even
Hey,
when Tyler Hero was healthy, he was still getting very valuable minutes. And he was contributing while he was out there. Hitting shots, um, getting the ball in one-on-one situations, and getting to his spots. He has great footwork, a great touch around the basket, a nice pull-up. He can shoot the three. Has a little handle on him. Um, yeah, he can do just about anything. And like I said, the big thing is he's doing it right now. And
right,
and I think I attribute a lot of that to him going to school for 4 years and really learning the game and knowing how to navigate and play and get to his spots and really hone his
right,
craft so that when he got to the NBA, he felt a little bit more comfortable about transitioning, playing against these professional athletes, the best players in the world, and he's had a little bit more success. I feel like because he's had the strong, stable foundation. Being at UCLA for 4 years rather than just 1 year.
You gonna give me that call? You gonna give me that call? I called that one before the season.
Yeah,
Go give me that call. I said
yeah,
the work was going. I
100%,
liked him. I said I liked him, Trigger.
100%,
I said I liked him.
100%. Yeah, I was
Give me
iffy
that
on him.
point forward.
I was iffy on him, but watching him play over the last few weeks now, he's definitely starting to come into his own. He's going to be a nice key player off the bench once we get our rotation straight. When our guys get healthy. I know Bam's out right now with I think a hip injury. Tyler Hero's still nursing that ankle injury. I feel like he should have been. Initially, it was a 2-week injury. It's been 4 weeks now, and there's no timetable on when he's supposed to be back. So I don't know. I don't know about him at this point, but I just hope he just stays healthy.
What do
And
you think
then
about Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then obviously Duncan Robinson has been filling in nicely for us. He's coming in, knocking down shots, getting to the basket, hitting mid range. Like he's got a whole arsenal now. He ain't just a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I think I didn't watch the Heat in the end season tournament. Let me get your thoughts on the end season tournament and the Heat in the end season tournament and the whole end season tournament so far with the championship tomorrow between the Lakers and Pelicans or Thunder.
Pacers.
Pacers. I'm sorry, Pacers.
And they're gonna renew that old 2000s rivalry back when Reggie Miller and them went to the finals in this LA. But anyways, yeah. The Miami Heat blew their opportunity when they lost that double-digit lead they had against the Knicks late in that one game, and they pretty much eliminated themselves. So yeah, I was a little disappointed that they let the Knicks come back and take that game from them. They were in full control up to the last 2 minutes. And again tonight they were up double digits, and now they're down double digits to the Cleveland Cavaliers, about to lose this game. Frustrating. It's very frustrating. But anywho, this is gonna be another. They're gonna be sub 500 again this year. It look like they're gonna be in a play-in tournament again this year. I just hope we get Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. But anyway,
Oh,
not to
then
get
you
too
want to
far.
talk? I
Not
was
to get too
talking.
far off subject. I'm just rambling and ranting now because of I'm looking at these stats real time here. But yeah, the in-season tournament I think has been a great addition, and I've said it many times on this show, man. I hate load management. I hate it. I understand it's a long season, but
I
again,
want to talk to you about that too.
as a professional athlete, your job is to be in shape and play when you're supposed to be playing. Unless you are legitimately hurt and you cannot play. Everyone did it before you for years. There's always been an 82-game season for years. There's been several players in the past that had no issue playing all, if not most, of those games. Now, superstar players, we're lucky if they play 50 of them. So, but I think the in-season tournament has done a great job of cutting down on that because guess what? Kawhi Leonard hasn't missed a game this season.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
look
He's
at
always
that.
he's at the top of the load managing list. He is the face of load management when I think about load management. I'm not saying he's the only one
Hey,
in the league that does it, but obviously he comes to mind because it started in San Antonio. It started with Greg Popovich. He played under Popovich. So it started with Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, when Pop rested those three guys all at once, just to give them rest. It became a
right,
big deal with that. And Kawhi Leonard, obviously, the situation happened with him in San Antonio. He ends up leaving, going elsewhere. And the Raptors, I don't think the
yep,
Raptors played them in back-to-back games, and they ended up paying dividends for them because they ended up winning the championship his only
you
year
got a
there.
championship.
And then he goes to the Clippers, and he's been load managing pretty much the whole time he's been there. And then they went on a little playoff run last year, and he gets hurt because he ain't used to playing, and his body just trying
Right,
to get used to making those movements again. And you set his stuff up to get injured, and he ends up missing the rest of that series. So the fact that he's played in every game this season, is even with all the firepower, at least on paper, that the Clippers have on that roster with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, James Harden now, and Kawhi Leonard. Even when Kawhi Leonard is not playing, I just don't get the same appeal watching them play. But the fact that he's actually been out there for every game this season, like that's huge. That's
You
huge.
saw what PJ Tucker said about it.
No, what he say?
He said it's because his usage went down. He just said it's not enough balls to go around with all the scores and all the people you got on this team.
Yeah, that's why I think it's ultimately not going to work out. But again, I like the fact that Kawhi Leonard's been playing. He's out there, and he does give them a chance to win if he's on the floor. And that's a guy who needs to have the ball in his hand,
Right.
or either him or Paul George when the game's on the line. Not James Harden,
Yep.
not Russell Westbrook. And I commend Russell Westbrook too because he went there. It's just supposed to be him, Paul George, and Leonard, and then Harden comes in, and this is now the third team. These two have been on together, and he's coming
Right.
off the bench. He's been a great teammate, a great sport about it, and I'm happy that he's taking that route because that's got to be tough. He was pretty much cemented in the starting role, and now he's coming off the bench behind Harden, and
Right.
again, not enough balls to go around. And guys like PJ Tucker, the usage goes down because, Russell's got to get his. Harden's got to get his. George's got to get his. Kawhi Leonard's got to get his. It's not enough balls to go around. You got 4 guys on your team where any one of them are capable of having, a 30-point night, any given night.
Yeah.
Even in the same game, we've seen that happen with Giannis and Dame Lillard a few times this season, where they've gone for 30, in the same game together, but nobody else outside of them has really done a whole lot. So can you win like
Right.
that? I don't know. We'll see. I think the Clippers have a little bit too much, and I just don't think the styles sync up enough with each other for them to win anything. I really don't. I think, people think you put the best 5 players in the NBA on the same team. Well, what positions do they play, and how do they score? What do they do? Like, do they have to have the ball in their hands, or are they good at coming off screens or getting put in certain spots to where they don't have to do anything? Like if all of them had the ball in their hands, I don't see that working. But if one of them can be a playmaker and the other one's kind of getting to their spots and coming off screens or whatever, like that could be effective. Like LeBron and Kyrie, I feel like their games complemented each other. Um, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, they all played 3 different positions in Miami. They complemented each other. So you don't have, guys coming in where, you got 2 point guards that both need the ball. Or you got 2 shooting guards or 2 small forwards that both need the ball. You got, a couple guys coming in different positions that do different things very, very well, and then it might all fit together. But if you got a couple guys coming in, they all do the same thing, like how's that gonna work? Somebody's gonna be unhappy. Somebody's not gonna be able to
Right.
get all their shots. Somebody's gonna have to take a sacrifice. Somebody's gonna have to, score less points than what they're accustomed to doing, And like I said, ultimately, I don't think you can win that way. Like
Right.
the best players playing together only works out if everybody does something different and they do it all within the framework of the offense and what you're trying to accomplish in the offense. And that's another important part too. What is the coach? What type of offense you in? Is it run and gun? Are y'all trying to play in the half court? Are you playing bigger players? Or are you playing small ball? Like you figuring all that stuff into that, and you're trying to get the right players to fit that, and the right players aren't necessarily the best players all the time.
Right.
So that goes for any sport. But
I think
yeah,
the in-season tournament has brought a little feistiness back, but the thing on your load management. So Kevin Durant, everybody's sitting out now. Like no Avery Bradley, no Kevin Durant. The only person that's playing out of the big 3 is Devin Booker. We're starting to see the same thing that happened in New York happened in Phoenix. Is Kevin Durant the face of load management? I ask you.
I mean, there's a lot of guys I feel like you can just kind of swap in and out and put in that position to be the face of load management. It's like it's the same superstars, all the time. But Yeah, that's why I like the in-season tournament because even Kevin Durant came out and he was very forthcoming about his initial feelings about it. You know, very unsure. Didn't think it was gonna be good or whatnot. But now he said the game they had against the Lakers the other night, he said they had a playoff feel to it. Like, when have you known an NBA team or NBA player to come out and say that game was a playoff level game in December? We're like a month
Yeah,
and a half into the season, and for one of your best players in the league to come out and say that felt like a playoff game. Like the competitiveness was up. All the guys who were healthy were playing. We competed hard. It felt like we were playing for something, and they were. But and when you're trying to do something that's never been done before, oftentimes is always met with like you know excuse me, it's met with criticism and all these bad things. What if this doesn't happen? What is always uh, pessimistic. In
right.
most people's minds when they talk about these types of things that have never been done before. People obviously are critical or going to be critical about it.
Right.
They're going to have questions about how it's going to work. What's it going to look like on the schedule. How's that going to work? The traveling,
Right.
the back to back deal, the East versus West thing, like in the middle of the season, and we've seen it play out now. And I can tell you, for me, when I see that in season tournament attached to some of these NBA games that come on, it makes
Yeah,
me want to
it holds a
watch.
little bit more. Yeah,
Yeah, it holds a little bit more weight to it. Exactly. So, and I know too that the best players are going to be playing. Like, I see an in-season tournament game where the Bucks are going to play. Uh, I don't know, the Sixers. And
right.
Joel Embiid's out there, Tyrese Maxey's out there, Giannis, Dame is playing. Like, I'm going to want to see that more. And that game's going to be meaningful. The crowd's going to be into it because the players are into it. They're coming to the
Yeah,
game, and Giannis is not load managing. Dame Lillard's not load managing. Embiid's not load managing. These guys are playing because there's an incentive with these in-season tournament games. At the end, like some guys gonna get paid. There's a cash incentive. So these guys, obviously these big contracts ain't big enough. Anytime
right.
there's a chance to make some more money, that's gonna motivate them to want to play and be out there. And it's amazing how that happens. Guys don't miss games, don't load manage, and the second the tournament's over with, now you got guys going back, and resting. So I think like I said, I didn't think it would completely take load management out the game, but I think it made these regular season games, like these early regular season games, feel excuse me,
Uh,
made them feel way more important than they otherwise
right.
would have been, like in the past. Like, no one cares about a regular season NBA game in December or January. Like, call me when the playoffs come on. That's the only time I care. Um, but the fact that people were interested in December to tune in to a regular season game with the in-season tournament and everything that's on the line, I think that's a step in the right direction. That's a step in the right direction of cutting down on load management. Obviously, it's still going to be more of it, but at least in the beginning stages, it's not. I don't feel like it was. I don't feel like it was too much of that going on with the in-season tournament in play. Like, guys were actually showing up and playing. Like I said, Kawhi Leonard has yet to miss a game this season. Like, I love that, because I love
Right.
watching Kawhi Leonard play. He's one of my favorite players personally. So I like when he's out on the floor. And other guys were playing too. Devin Booker and KD were playing every game. I think Bradley Beal's still hurt or whatever, um, but yeah, man, it gave it a different feel. It made games that wouldn't have been important. It made it more competitive. It made it more, it gave it more of a playoff type atmosphere, and
Yeah,
that's what I
it did
like
what it
about
had.
it.
It did what it's supposed to do, and it's good.
Yeah, yep. So, and I know 82 games is a long season. These guys gonna be looking to get some rest. You know, when they can. And I guess I understand. The game is played at a different pace than it was back in the 80s and the 90s, but yet guys back then still played 82 game season. and they played in most of those games. And I would love for
Yeah,
the stars in today's game, to be able to play, at least 65, 70 games somewhere in there. Maybe 60 games. I'll take 60 games, but the fact that some superstar players ain't playing but like 40, 40 to 50 games, like that's just I don't
that's
know.
securing. Like you getting that's like an easy bag. Like you getting
Yeah,
paid just to come play half the season.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah, yeah. You make a lot of money, and I guarantee you, these guys are getting paid, by a game check. How many games they play? A lot more guys will play.
Right.
A lot more guys will play. And they were getting paid because they were only playing at half the games. And they gonna got paid half the money. And then I think they come. All right, oh man, I don't feel like I need to be rested today. I think I'm gonna play tonight.
Right.
The bank account will start dwindling a little bit. They might come to their senses then. But
But didn't everybody get didn't they get for just getting to the semifinals, didn't they get some money too?
who that?
Didn't they get some money for getting to the semifinals as well?
Oh, that I'm not sure about. I just know that if they make it to the finals and win, there's like a incentive for everybody, and
Right.
the coaching staff and all that. I think everyone is compensated more. Um, but yeah,
Is
I
that
like
like
it. Man.
that's
And he
like the
gave. Yeah, go ahead.
I said I think that's like the oh snap you did it award right there. Something like
Hmm.
I wish they would have did it around All Star Weekend, like the final, and like made it like a spectacle and kind of brought more intensity to All Star Weekend. But maybe
Yeah,
not because you don't want to play the game off. Like do it the weekend before All Star Weekend, before you put everybody on the break. Do it that Saturday before, and then
yeah.
put
I actually
everybody
like
on the
that.
weekend.
I feel like the dog days of the season, like the month of January, like right before All Star break. I feel like those games right there, players tend to kind of hit a wall. You
Right.
know, people kind of like, all right, like this, where the playoffs at? I feel like everyone's kind of like just kind of sleepwalking, dragging their feet at that point. I think the
Right.
NCAA tournament would have been perfect to put right there because November, late October, November, you're just getting started, so you're kind of getting into it. You got the month of December, you got the Christmas Day slate lineup.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of into that, watching basketball all day. Um, then comes January, and I feel like January is just really really underwhelming. Like there's nothing going on, nothing. There's no build up to nothing. You still got a month and some change away from All Star Weekend. The dunk contest, 3-point shootout, all that stuff. Um,
Right.
I think once All Star Weekend concludes, like All Star Weekend, people are interested, obviously, because the NBA, they love to tune in and watch all that stuff, the dunk contest, 3-point shootout, all that. And then, like, after that, they know, okay, the playoffs about a month and a half out. So, like, we ain't got long. So, people are kind of, holding on just because, they know the playoffs coming up. But I feel like that time from, like, right now, like mid January, I mean, mid December up until, like, the whole month of January, up until the All Star weekend, like, the dog days of the season right there. Like, everyone just kind of, like, you know,
Trying to get out of it, trying to get
yeah,
into the
just,
playoffs.
they
I mean,
they
trying to
kind
get
of
through the
go
initial slate.
just trying to go through the motions, So I feel like the in
Yeah.
season tournament would have been perfect to place right there, like in January.
Yep.
You give it, players tend to take off, and load manage a little bit more. Um, you know, guys are a little bit tired. They kind of hit a wall. Like, I think that'd be the perfect time to kind of give them some incentive to, keep the level of play up and attract more viewers to watch. So I feel like, there's a drop off right there in that month of January when there's no major holidays. The season's kind
Right.
of going on now. You kind of know who the good teams are, who the bad teams are, or going to be. Everything's kind of shaking out and starting to separate. Um, and then
Yeah.
it's just a
Football
wait
wise,
until
especially.
All Star Weekend. So yeah. I think if I were to change anything about the in season tournament, it would be the timing of it. I would place it probably after Christmas, like January, running throughout the month of January up until All Star Weekend. And then, like you said, that
Right.
weekend before the All Star Weekend, you had the championship game, and then you go into your break. Have All Star Weekend. You know, everyone enjoys themselves, the fans, the players, and then after All Star Weekend, it's go time now. You make that final push, for the playoffs. That's gonna be,
Right.
an interesting time for the fans again. People, come back, start watching, see what's gonna happen. Um, so yeah, I think those times right at the beginning and right at the end after All Star break, we can get more interest in what's going
Yeah,
on.
into the nitty gritty.
And I think, in order to have and keep that interest, in January, it's cold outside, people are miserable. Like, everybody just over everything, going through the motions. Like, you want to give somebody some incentive, the players some incentive to keep playing and keep the games competitive, keep
Right.
them into it. You put that in-season tournament in January. You bring in viewership as well. If people want to see the top players play against each other, they want to see top competition play against each other.
And it
You
means
keep that
something.
viewership up. You bring down those fans and that audience in January. So yeah, I think that would
Like that's
be
what's
a better idea.
yeah, to put it around like the All Star weekend, have a whole spectacle, like a whole week that you bring the
Yep.
NBA to a city and like make it a big event. You can have the G League. You can maybe even have WNBA. Like you can tie a lot of stuff around it and make it a whole spectacle and use the publicity to promote other areas of the NBA and what they're doing and all the stuff like that.
Yep. Yep. I agree,
But
man. They could really make it into something. But yeah, like I said, man, that would be the only thing that I would change about the in-season tournament. Just the timing of it. Um, yeah,
yeah,
put that thing in January, because then you put the in-season tournament in January. You got guys who normally be load managing and playing a lot of or not playing a whole lot. Now they got
right.
incentive to play, and when that tournament wraps, now we're at All Star Weekend where they're gonna have time off anyway. So now you need to rest, recuperate, whatever. That's the time to do it. You got to do it, during games where you're sitting out on the sideline. And somebody gonna pay their hard-earned money to come see you play, and you on the sideline resting. So you put that in-season tournament in January. You put that in-season tournament in January, right? You run it throughout the whole month of
Yep.
January, and then right before All-Star Weekend, you have the championship game, and then, like I said, those guys, they usually have the whole week off, All-Star Week, where they have like 5, 6 days, some almost a week off for All Star Weekend, and
Yep.
get your rest in. Get your rest in. You ain't gotta, like I said, you ain't gotta come to, the next game or whatever, and sit out and rest. Like run that thing up to All Star Weekend, and then go take a break with everybody else. The whole league will be off. Everybody can go load manage.
Yeah. I mean,
That's another thing I think would be good. As far as the timing of it goes. So that way, the in-season tournament will be over with. Now you got guys who were playing the whole time that may have been load managing before. Now they're gonna be load managing, throughout the rest of December, throughout all of January. It's just you know, tend to lose interest in the product. When the best players aren't out there. So yeah, I think it's going to be it's obviously going to be a success when they do the in-season tournament. Um, again, just the timing of it, I think would have to be different.
so you
Put that
saying the
thing in
only thing
January.
you change is the timing?
Yeah, the only thing I change would be the timing of it.
Because I feel like the finals snuck up on us. Like I was like, the finals is this Saturday. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, it came up quick. That's what happens when you're having fun and you're enjoying it. Kind of sad it's actually coming to an end, honestly. But maybe they'll have a thing now where like maybe they'll drag it out a little bit further. So like they can start it in November and they can end it in January. Or maybe they can do two of them. I don't know. They can do like they have one early in the season, they have one later in the season. I don't know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good for basketball. I think it was a success. And I think they'll continue to kind of tweak it, make changes, and they'll make it even more appealing. Like everything is always, a trial run. Nothing is always in its final form. It's going to take you, when you're trying to get something off the ground, it's going to take you a couple of attempts, to kind of tweak some stuff and move some things around before you finally get it how you want it. And then you kind of have it, where it's already set and you ain't got to do much to it, in the future. So, um, but yeah, I do think that the in-season tournament will be here to stay, and it's going to help in terms of getting people to watch, getting the best players to show up and play if they're not hurt. Um, and it's going to be competitive. Like I feel like some of the guys wouldn't care about it, but throughout it and at the end of it now, you know, talk to the players and they seem to have enjoyed it and liked it. Um, so I think it'll be something that they continue to do, and I'm looking forward to it as a basketball player and a fan. Um, I absolutely loved it. Loved it.
We got a close game right here with Golden State and Oklahoma City.
Yep. Steph for the win.
Oh,
Oh, y'all.
you ahead of me. You ahead of me.
Oh,
Dang,
my
that's
bad.
wild.
My
That's
bad.
wild. That's crazy. Yeah, man. I wish NFL could do something like that, like an end season tournament or something like that. That'd be dope for the NFL.
I mean, if you look at the regular season, it pretty much is. If you
You
think
right.
about it,
Your division,
pretty
trying
much
to win your
is. Like
division.
every game is important. You're always playing against your division. You play against the guys in your division. But yeah, they every week's a championship game, and then the teams you play in other divisions too, because that comes back,
Yeah, that's true.
in the playoffs to hurt and help you. Like you look at the
Yeah,
Philly, if you look at Philly, San Fran, and Dallas, like they've all played each other. So when it
yeah.
comes to determining the number one seed, if one of the two teams is tied, they're gonna go back to week 4, week 5, whenever they played, who won
That
that game,
tiebreaker.
and then that's who gets that advantage. So you have a lot of games during the regular season that are, almost. And that's why I say, man, I love football because every game's important. The best players are going to play. Guys ain't sitting out unless they are actually hurt and can't go. There ain't no load managing in football. None. You can't. These games are played once a week. It's special. You know, it's just it's something about it, man. Where like you just have to tune in. It's must see. And
All
I
right.
think
Let
that
me.
football will always have that about the sport, and no other sport will ever come close. Like the Super Bowl, like nothing, no other spectacle.
Yeah, nothing beat the
Maybe
Super
maybe
Bowl.
maybe the World Series because
Nothing beat the Super Bowl.
Americans do love baseball, but no other spectacle. The NBA Finals, the World Series, um, comes close to the Super Bowl.
I had the kids. Watching the Michael Jackson Super Bowl when the Bills and the Cowboys played, and I was like, Cowboys and the Bills in the Super Bowl. That was probably a spectacle.
Yep, yep. The Bills went
But
to 4 straight Super Bowls
and
those
lost.
years and lost all
And
of them.
lost all of them. How mad would you
Lost
be
all
if
of
Cowboys went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost?
them. Man, I'd be devastated. I'd be devastated, man. Yeah, I don't like. I'd rather not even get there if that's gonna be the case.
Yeah, like stop me short. Stop me short. Yeah. Let me cut
Yeah,
this
but,
up.
but yeah, Dallas is they got a chance this year. Buffalo also has a chance. They can right the ship. They're sitting at 500 right now, coming off a bye. They have a tough matchup against Kansas City. But as long as they don't go to overtime, Josh Allen will have a chance.
Yeah, Josh Allen rule. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year. And then they got all that stuff coming out with Sean McDermott and all that too.
Buffalo,
Yeah. You heard what Sean McDermott said, didn't you?
I didn't hear exactly what he said, but I know it had to do something with 9/11. And it
He
happened
said,
back in what, 21?
I think it was 19, and he said it was like, I want y'all to be
19.
perfect, like they were perfect on 9/11. I'm paraphrasing, not an exact quote, but I want y'all to be perfect like they were on 9/11 with their execution. And then he was bashing Cam Newton, I heard, and all that kind of stuff. I was
Oh,
like, Ken Dorsey out here telling all.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think I
Yeah,
would have
I
used
played the
those
MJ
words. Man.
concert. Yeah, he was on. I'm sorry, I was thirsty. I think he on the hot seat. I think Sean McDermott on the hot seat.
He could be. Very well could be because Buffalo has they've underachieved. They've been looked at every year the last 3 or 4 seasons now as a favorite in the AFC, and they've come up short.
I think it's Josh Allen. That's my hot take. That's my hot
Yep,
take. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl with that team.
yeah, I think so too. Stephon Diggs, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, but yeah, yep. Michael Jackson performed the halftime show in '92.
Yeah, that's the one I showed. I showed Michael Jackson dancing, but it was a lot of people at the Super Bowl. A lot of people there.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah, in
one of those.
'92. I think Michael Jackson was in the middle of touring that year too when he did that Super Bowl, or he's about to go on tour because he also filmed a concert he did in Romania later that year. It was on an HBO special, and yeah, same year he did. Oh no, because the Super Bowl game was for the '92 place. So he was played '92. So yeah, he was touring. He was in the middle of touring when he did that.
Look at Trigger coming through with the Michael Jackson knowledge.
Don't ask me why I know that. I don't even know why I know that. I just remember the time and that.
Trigger, you got beat by Miles last week in the Pick'ems. He beat you by 1. It was 9-8 to 5.
That daggone, he picked Green Bay over Kansas City. That's the one that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had 2 upsets.
Yeah.
He had the Saints beating Detroit. He had Green
And then
Bay
we had
beating
the
Kansas City. Those are the 2 I remember.
and then
him
we
picking.
had the Rams. We had the Rams beating the Cleveland, and you got Detroit. Oh, me and you both got Detroit. He picked New Orleans, but that's the one I think too. It was the Rams over Cleveland and KC, and then we all got Denver wrong.
Yeah, Denver let me down.
Who did they play? They played
the Texans.
Yeah, they lost. Who did the Cardinals play?
Cardinals, Steelers. Who knows? Was it? Yeah, Steelers.
I think it was the Steelers. Yep, they lost
They
it
beat the
because the Steelers
Steelers.
just lost to the Patriots Thursday. Yep.
Yep. Steelers lost to 2 teams back to back that had 2 or less wins on their record. And the Steelers are still 7-6. They still got a chance.
That's why I'm like,
which is
they
crazy.
look bad in
like
their 7-6. We just trash.
I feel like the Steelers should have won only 3 games this season, but yet they are over 500 and still have a chance to make the playoffs. And they just lost 2 of the worst teams in the National Football League.
All right, Trigger. It's that time of the show. I thought Miles said he was coming back, but he didn't come back. So we gonna skip on you later. Right? We're gonna go to our pick'ems. Our pick'ems. Trigger.
All right.
You picked Dallas already. Everybody got Dallas penciled in over Philly. Buccaneers at Falcons. Battle for the NFC South Division lead.
I feel like I can never trust the Falcons to win a game when I need them to win one. I feel like if I pick Tampa Bay, they're going to win. I'm just trying to figure out, man, like they ain't using Kyle Pitts. They ain't using Bijan Robinson, and yet they still they lead the NFC. Like, how is this happening right now?
And running and rushing.
No, I'm saying they have the I think the number one. Like if the playoffs started today, the Falcons will win that division.
Yeah, because Desmond Ridder been looking pretty decent throwing the ball. I mean, not decent, but he could throw the ball and get that one touchdown that they need. I mean, that's all our division needed, if somebody can get that one touchdown. Like, I mean, you saw the note. I'm proud of how Carolina played, and they scored 18 points, but we got to be better on some of those. We got to be better on a lot of those. But I'm going to go with the Falcons, man. Tampa Bay, their linebackers are out. They're hurt, and then we almost beat them if it wasn't for Bryce not calling the motion, but we can talk about it. But like you said, ain't the only reason we lost. I mean, it's 2 to 3 plays a game but I ain't gonna put it on Bryce. We getting there. We showing improvement. But I think Atlanta's gonna run the ball with those linebackers being out, and it's gonna be a close one. But I got Atlanta.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Atlanta to win this one as well. I just feel like they just keep winning games, and I don't understand. So they'll win this one too. So I really ain't
It's
got no
like
reason as to why. I just
look at the Rams. The Rams in the playoffs, bro. The Rams are in the playoffs, or at least they were in the playoffs last time I
does
checked.
that win count that Dallas had against them early in the season? They beat them 43-20. Does that count beating the 500 team too?
I mean, they 500. What if they get back in the playoffs and they run for 200 on y'all and beat y'all in the first round?
No, it wouldn't be the first time.
Speaking of Rams, you got the Rams and the Ravens. Rams and the Ravens.
The Rams and Ravens?
Yep.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, Baltimore.
Baltimore. You know, they ain't looked real dominant here as of late. I feel like Philly, they find ways to win games.
I think this is a track game for them. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. This is a trap game for Baltimore. Well, actually, they've been going through their trap game, so I can't say that. Lions at Bears.
I'm gonna go with Detroit.
I'm gonna go with Detroit too. Colts Bengals. Bengals got that big dub in Jacksonville. Jake Browning.
Yeah. So Jake Browning versus Gardner Minshew.
Who you going with? I'm going with Jake Browning.
Never thought I'd say that at this point in the season. Jake Browning versus Gardner Minshew. Who's winning that battle?
I'm going with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's who I'm going with. Kenny Moore can't cover both of them.
No.
Oh, they in overtime. They went to overtime.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, we picked the same thing. I'm about to say.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead. You said you think? True.
Oh man, yeah, I'm watching the game.
Oh, I said, what was you saying? You said you think?
Cincinnati.
Jacksonville at Cleveland. Ooh, extra pass.
Is Trevor Lawrence playing?
I don't think they announced it yet. I think it's a game time decision.
That's going to be a big deal. Joe Flacco did not look terrible.
Yeah, he looked good. I'm going Cleveland.
He had one turnover, but I mean he had 2 touchdown passes and he threw for I think he threw for over 200 yards. His completion percentage I don't think was that great, but him playing in an NFL game for the first time as a starter, I don't know how long. I mean,
he did good.
Not terrible.
I'm going with they didn't say it, but I'm gonna go with the Browns. You talked me into it with Joe Flacco.
The Browns, who they playing again?
The Jacksonville.
Oh man.
8-4 Jacksonville Jaguars versus 7-5 Cleveland Browns. I gotta go with that Cleveland defense.
I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
Ooh.
I think Jacksonville.
All right. Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. I'm going Carolina.
Well, surprise.
You want to pick it? I know you want to pick it. It sounds good. You know that's a dub for us. Jameis Winston.
I'm gonna go with New Orleans because of Jameis Winston.
And Taysom Hill. Hey, you know JC back full. JC back. Jeremy back.
Boo.
Dante Jackson.
Give me
Shaquille
Jay
Griffin.
Boo.
Shaquille Griffin may be playing this week. He got a pick in practice the other day.
Give me Jay Boo in the New Orleans Saints, please.
Michael Thomas ain't playing. I'm just letting you know.
The Jay Boo is playing though.
All right. Carolina gonna be like this.
Jameis Winston.
Carolina gonna be like this. Carolina gonna be like this. Bryce gonna do that on the sideline, bro. Bryce gonna do that on the sideline.
What other quarterback you know talking about eating W's? It's the mentality.
He was eating his hand for real, bro.
He did. He nibbled his fingers. And honestly, the whole thing about that video, the funniest thing to me was everybody's reaction around. I didn't know how to take that. Everyone's faces, like you look at his faces when who want to eat a W? Everyone was like, "What?
What the fuck are we talking about?
What are you?
We got smacked. What's your man's on, bro?
These dudes, like, they were sitting there, they were so confused by that. Like, it was like, nah. I don't know about, motivational speeches ain't his thing, but man, that was one of my favorite.
Hey, Bryce getting this dub. All right, you got Houston at New York Jets.
Houston.
Ooh, you saying Houston? I don't want to bet against CJ Stroud.
I am sold on Houston.
I'm going to Jets. I don't know if they can.
Because they put Zach Wilson back at quarterback?
No, because CJ lost Tank Dell, and they're going against the Jets defense. So you really don't have your speed. I'm not worried about Nico Collins, Noah Brown, John Mechie against the Jets defense.
Is out too, I believe.
And Dalton Schultz is out, I think, too. Oh, shout out Hayden Hurst. Praying for Hayden Hurst. He's out too. He's got he took a hit in Chicago, and I forgot what they said he got, but he's having trouble making new memories. He's having trouble remembering what happened on the play, and he got hit and he went back in it, and it's messed him up. So praying for Hayden Hurst. But this Jets defense, I think, can beat Houston, but I don't know if the Jets offense can score because Derek Stingley is playing well, so he's going to shut down Garrett Wilson. But you got Alan Lazard. But then you got Will Anderson coming off the edge on Zach. Yeah, give me Houston. You're right. Give me Houston.
All that was like.
Give me Houston. Yeah, give me Houston. The Jets can't score, and their offense worse than our offense, so I can't.
Yeah, the Jets
but I mean, we beat Houston though.
The Jets have the
man. Give me the Jets. Give me the Jets.
One of the worst.
Zach Wilson gonna win. The Jets gonna win the game, bro. Jets gonna win this game. Vikings at Raiders. Off the bye. Josh Dobbs off the bye.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I know he didn't have a good outing the last time he played, but I don't see him doing that again.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota. He threw 4 picks and they still almost won the game, so I'm gonna go with Minnesota as well.
Yep. See, there you go.
But is Devontae Adams gonna eat? It's Brian Flores. Never mind.
They won't give him the daggone ball.
They can't get it to him. Aiden O'Connell. I don't know.
The Seahawks Niners.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the upset. Give me Seattle.
Ooh, I was thinking Seattle too.
It's a division game. You know, they did play them tough in the playoffs last year. In the second half, they got blown out. You know, they played already earlier this season, right? I believe. Was this their first meeting?
Let's see. Last meeting was November 23rd, 2023. And that's going to make me keep my pick at the 49ers. They played them the 23rd of November. It was 31-13. I'm going to keep my pick.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was the Thanksgiving game. They played Thanksgiving
keep
night.
My pick going for it. Keep my pick going for it.
Yeah, they are, yeah. Give me Seattle. Because I know the
We
way they
go
played against
downstairs.
Dallas. I know the way they played against Dallas. They're gonna play against San Fran. Yep, yep. Because
All right.
this not gonna be, you know, we playing against the Cowboys. Let us go ahead and we know how to play offense. No, I need to see that same energy against San Fran. So yeah, Seattle.
All right. Let's see. We got Buffalo at Kansas City.
I'm gonna go with
I'm
Kansas
going
City.
Kansas City. Broncos at Chargers.
Denver. Give me Denver.
Yeah, I'm giving. I mean, it took it took the everything they had to beat the Patriots by 6 points.
What's the score? 6-0?
6-0.
Yeah. Give me Denver.
Philly at Dallas. We all picked Dallas. Sunday Night Football. And both Monday Night Football games. The first one is the Titans at Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins as well. And then Packers at Giants.
Green Bay.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay as well. All right. But yeah, Trigger. I gotta see a turnaround. I like our new coaching staff. I like what we had. This game is gonna decide to see what we got to do. DJ Chark looked good. John Domingo looked good. Bryce just got to get it all clicking. Our offensive line actually gave him some time to throw the ball, and he was throwing that ball down the field. We lost by 3, but I felt good. I felt good about it. We're going against Jameis Winston. The last game we played against the Saints, we lost by 3, and then the one last year we beat them by 3 points. So this guy. Yeah, Bryce
So we
gonna
W.
be throwing that, bro. Tom Brady and Denzel. Tom Brady doing all these interviews. Tom Brady out here doing publicity.
Yeah, it's quite the combination right there.
The Thunder beat the Warriors. Did I pick them, man? I hope I picked them in my bets, bro. I'm gonna be sitting here looking mad and stupid.
The Warriors have not looked good this year.
They said the Warriors look bad, man.
They are struggling. Steph Curry really is the only one on there that's really doing anything, and when he has no help from anybody else, none right now.
It's crazy because they're like Chris Paul's gonna come in and help him do all this, and this is how everything's gonna go. This is how they're gonna play.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he played tonight.
All right, love you.
But SGA went off at 36. Chet Holmgren hit some key clutch free throws to send the game to overtime. And he hit a 3 also in overtime. He had another a putback at the rim, a and one, and hit a free throw. I mean, he's coming along nicely. Happy to see him out there.
Looking good.
Yeah,
OKC.
Yeah, OKC is they coming.
What you think? You think they're going to the playoffs?
I think they could be a playoff team this year. Definitely, the top 10 in the play-in, at least the 7 through 10 spot. I can see them getting in there, maybe upsetting a couple teams, making a run.
Magic look good too.
I think they'd be good enough to get past the first round, but nothing further than that this year. Yeah, Orlando, I'm still not sold on them. I mean, I'm more sold on OKC than I am Orlando. And I've seen Orlando play a couple times, and I understand. I don't know how they keep winning, honestly. The Pacers, they've been a surprise this year as well. I think they
Tyrese Halliburton.
They lead the league, I think, in points per game. I feel like every time I look up, they scoring 130, 140 points. I'm just like, who else is on this team other than Halliburton putting up these numbers? But
Yeah, them boys out
yeah,
there
they are
trash.
so into the basketball. Like Miami had to score 132 points one night, and they still lost to this Pacers team by like 10.
Hey,
They are a high scoring team for whatever reason, but they are they getting buckets. Yeah, the Spurs and
I
the
think
Pistons, man, are probably the two worst teams in the game, and they're both riding a double-digit game losing streak right now. I think the Pistons lost like 20. They're at 20 right now. 20 games
man,
straight. That's hard to do.
we the Pistons of the NBA. We the new Cleveland Browns.
I wouldn't go that far. I had one bad year. I
We
wouldn't go that far.
the new Cleveland Browns, bro.
Mm-mm.
Look at man. We about to be. Who we gonna hire? I think we should hire internal. The more I think about it, the more it's saying we should hire internal.
Remote Run will be on the market. Sean McDermott might be on the market. Brian
Yeah,
Dable might
he'll
be on
come
the
back.
market.
They saying 7 to 8 coaches
Ron
this year.
Rivera. Yeah, Ron Rivera is definitely going to be on the market this offseason. Yeah.
I think Mike Tomlin might be on the market.
Who?
Mike Tomlin.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Like, is it time? And then I saw a stat to where Bill Cowher, to this point in his career, has done the same thing that Mike Tomlin's done in terms of wins, losses, and Super Bowl victories. Mike Tomlin is actually ahead of him.
So you thinking
if
he
you
gonna
look at
step
it
away
that
and
way,
go to the booth?
If you look at it that way, fans should have been more upset with Bill Cowher than they are Mike Tomlin.
Right. Well, Bill Cowher had Big Ben to really fall back on at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Big Ben. Orlando beat Detroit by that. You did say that.
Yeah, Detroit sucks.
I need to find my phone to look at my sports bet, see if I'm rich. I need to know if I'm
Detroit's
rich.
terrible.
Let me see if I won money on my parlay. Actually, how did Charlotte do?
The Hornets?
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure. I didn't see anything about them just now. See, Brooklyn beat Washington.
It was 119-116. They beat them.
Charlotte won. Oh, there go the score.
Yeah, they got Gordon Hayward up.
Charlotte beat Toronto. Miami lost to the Cavs after being up double digits again.
Come on, Miami. I bet on Miami to win too.
Yeah, well.
They was
Magic won,
underdog.
129-1. Sixers beat the Hawks. Celtics beat the Knicks.
I just need to see Gordon Hayward step
I
on.
feel like the Knicks, everyone beat them since we lost to them. What the heck, man?
I think he got me paid. Trigger.
Who that?
Gordon Hayward. I said he was going to get over 24.5 points. I might have put under, bro. If I put under, I'm going to be upset.
I would have went
24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You said what?
Oh, you all three combined. Okay. Yeah, I probably would have went over then.
Yeah, he got 24 points by himself.
Okay.
He was in scoring. Where's my phone at, bro? Here it is. Let's see if we won some on these free prize picks.
Every time I look at Miami, man, they barely getting 100 points a game, man.
Nope.
We don't have nobody to put the ball in the basket.
Brandon Miller got 20 points. I said he was going to get less. Gordon Hayward got 32 points, rebounds, and assists. And I had Dennis Schroeder getting more than 24.5. He got 13 points, rebounds, and assists.
Ew. Yeah, I don't know if I would have bet Dennis Schroeder.
I didn't want. It was a free pick. It was a free one, so I just did it. I got LeBron. I got the in-season championship one tomorrow. I'm gonna place that bet in the morning.
Okay. What you gonna do for that one?
I don't know. On Prize Picks, they got LeBron over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Tyrese Halliburton over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. AD over 43. Miles Turner over 28.5. D'Angelo Russell over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Buddy Hield over 20.5, and Obi Toppin over 17.5, and Bruce Brown over 19.5. And then they got LeBron over 28.5. Well, LeBron more or less than 28.5 points. Everything's more or less. Tyrese Halliburton 28.5. Anthony Davis 26.5 points. Miles Turner 17.5 points. LeBron over 8.5 rebounds is line. 14 rebounds for AD. 4.5 rebounds for Tyrese Halliburton. Couple bets out there I gotta look at to see. Any of them that stand out to you?
I'll be scared. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I ain't placed a bet in a minute because I just don't have. I feel like as much basketball I know, certain guys should be doing certain things, and I always get let down.
That's why I hate doing the points because every time I go more, like they won't do it. That's why I like the points, rebounds, and assists. Because if you don't get your point, you get 15, 16, 20 points, then I know you can get at least one assist or one rebound for me. Because Russell Westbrook didn't beat me out of $20,000 twice by not getting enough points and missing free throws.
Man, that's 20 grand. Boy, y'all wouldn't see me again. For about 2 months, then I'll be back. About 2 months.
20,000.
For about 2 months. You wouldn't see me for about 2 months.
You see the little G pulling back up.
After getting groceries a couple times and paying for daycare, I'll be back after about 2 months.
Yeah, man. Hey, we've been on for 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the time in the corner just now.
Yeah, bro. Lady Ray, you've been rocking with us the whole time. We appreciate it.
We love you, Lady Ray.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate your support.
Your last words as we get ready to close it down.
Well, next time we come back, it'll be, to see the fallout from the Cowboys Eagles. Pretty sure we're going to be diving deep into that one. No matter what the results, I'm probably going to be upset about something. So Lady Ray, tune in. I'm gonna be ranting about something for that game specifically. Don't worry. But I think it's 3 games I'm gonna have my eye on. Obviously, the Cowboys Eagles being one of them. But I feel like that game's getting a lot of attention because it's in the Sunday night time. The Sunday night primetime spot.
Sunday Night Football.
But I think that the Chiefs, the Bills will be another interesting watch, given where the Buffalo Bills are at. It's kind of like a make it or break it game for them. They win, they keep their playoff hopes alive, obviously. But if they lose, they go under 500. And I just don't know if they lose this game, they can recover. But Miami playing the way that they're playing, if they can get a wild card spot in the AFC side of the playoffs. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. Plus, the history there between these two teams. Obviously, they played an AFC Championship game a couple seasons ago that changed the overtime rules. Now, both teams, only in the playoffs, can possess the football. It ain't just the first team that gets it and scores a touchdown win.
No. It ain't in the
it's postseason.
No.
It's postseason.
For the touchdown?
No, postseason, both teams get a chance to possess it. So if you go down and score a touchdown, instead of the game being over, the other team get a chance to get the ball and match you. But if they don't go down and score a touchdown, or then game over. In the regular season, you kick a field goal, other
They go
teams
down
have a
score.
chance to match you. But anytime your team scores a touchdown in the regular season, game over.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got
Okay.
that
I
rule
thought so.
changed for the playoffs, based off that game, because obviously that game went to overtime. The Chiefs won the coin toss. They get the football. They go score a touchdown. Josh Allen, the offense, doesn't see the field, and everyone was kind of upset about that. The way they were playing, they didn't get a chance to come out there. And
Defense stop them then. Like,
I know the defense didn't do their job, but that ain't Josh Allen's fault. So get that offense a chance to come out there and do something, and at least see if the Chiefs defense can get a stop. And if that's the case, then maybe they are the better team and they should go on to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think that game is going to obviously be, because of the history there between the two teams, and obviously both quarterbacks, very, very highly regarded by the players in the league and the fans. Also, I think the third game is going to be interesting because the upset I picked earlier, Seattle and the 49ers. The 49ers are coming off one of their best wins of the season. Now, I put that above the Cowboys because it was the same team they played in the NFC Championship game last year. They went to
they
their
made them
home
look bad.
field, and blew them out on their home field in front of their fans. And I think that the Niners are playing the best that they could play. I feel like, they're playing against a division team in Seattle. They mopped the floor with Seattle earlier on Thanksgiving. But I feel like this game's going to be a little bit different. I feel like Seattle's going to make it tough. The way they came out against Dallas in that game, I feel like they will come out the same way against 49ers. It's going to be a close battle.
You think it's going to be a
I'm
bloodbath?
going with Gino. It'll be a bloodbath. No. I mean, if it turns
Gino
into
throwing,
if the 49ers
Gino throwing two picks.
If the 49ers end up blowing them out, I will not be surprised. But
Gino throwing 2 picks.
I'm picking Seattle to win this game, and I'm picking them to win it close. So those will be my 3 games that I'll be having, special attention to, and we'll see what happens. We'll have a lot to talk about, next time we get on here.
I'm looking at Carolina, and then I'll look at everybody else. Make sure if you got a real Christmas tree that you look out for it. It is the holiday season. Y'all make sure y'all are safe and paying attention. And your mental health is okay, because this is the time of season for the reasons that a lot of people get sad and a lot of stuff get damaged. And support Black business. Carolina on top. Wild card championship. Wild card coming soon. 2025, we're going to Super Bowl, Trigger.
You might. You just might. Things do change. You go relatively fast in this league.
When we get Marvin Harrison Jr., because he stayed in school.
Teams, you never know. The teams that are on the bottom right now could be on top in a couple of years. So I'm not going to sit here and say
you said a couple of years, like, no, you mean next year.
It could be next year. We've seen teams have great turnarounds, when 1-2 games. Detroit did it. Detroit just did. They're living proof right now. Look at their record last year and how they finished, and look at where they are now.
That's why I said we finished strong.
All in the season.
Go ahead and hire Jaro.
Yeah. Y'all make the right hires. Y'all make the right hires, get the right draft picks. Y'all get somebody in free agency. That'll make some impact plays for y'all on offense or defense. You have a completely different team next year. And
we just need a receiver.
Flip the script. Complete 180. Top of division, top seed in the playoffs.
We'll get Stephon Diggs. We get Stephon Diggs. We're going. Stephon Diggs. We'll Stephon Diggs away.
Could happen. I'm not ruling anything out.
Yeah, you are. Fuck you. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
You
I'm
talking about my team.
The Dallas Cowboys might be at the bottom of the league next year. You just don't know. You just don't
Y'all
know.
don't ever be in the bottom of the league. Y'all go 13-3 and then lose in the first round. I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's that's
14
about the
and 3.
equivalent. That's like the equivalent of being a bottom. I'd rather be at the bottom league than do that every year. At least we get a high draft pick, get some players, get somebody in there that's
Now
gonna
when you
change
trade it
life.
away, now when you trade your draft pick away,
We still got some high draft picks.
we traded our draft pick away, man. We got a high second round pick. I'm good on that. Hopefully, one of those Texas receivers fall. That's what I'm hoping for. I just
Yes,
need Worthy or Mitchell.
it is possible, Lady Ray. It is possible. But yeah, like you just don't know, man. Like you say, like these teams don't stay bad forever. Some teams can have an off season or a bad season, and then next year it'll be completely different. And then vice versa. Have a team that have a really good year like the Giants, and look at where they are this year. And the coach is on the chopping block.
Because they gave a quarterback a $45 million contract that they shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Should
I
have
agree
gave it
with
to
you
your
on
running
that.
back.
Yeah, we talked about that. And we went very in depth about Saquon Barkley and how he is to that team. Versus when he's not playing with them. So yeah, we're both in agreement on that. So, but yeah, it happens, man. Teams ride the roller coaster. You got some teams that every year they're in contention, and you got some teams every year it just seems like they're just playing for a high draft pick. And you got some teams that
Yep.
have a good year and then they suck the next year. You got some teams that suck one year and then they're on top of the world the year after. So like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and say the Carolina Panthers are going to suck for years to come because they haven't one bad year. I don't know what moves y'all might make at head coach or as far as personnel goes with your players, who y'all gonna keep, who y'all get rid of, y'all gonna make any trades. Like you just don't know. Like you just don't know. I didn't see Adam Thielen, coming to y'all, but I thought that was a really
We
good
trading
pickup.
y'all Adam Thielen next year. We can trade Adam Thielen to the Cowboys for a second round pick.
I didn't see Adam. I've seen him leaving, Minnesota and them parting ways with them. But like, I didn't see Carolina picking them up, and when y'all picked them up, I was like, oh, that's a good pickup. And he was balling out for y'all. Like I know y'all didn't bring him in to be the number one receiver, but he was putting up wide receiver one numbers. And Minnesota
Man,
was missing him for a little bit, especially when Justin
we got to
Jefferson
do a
went down. They
film
wish they
review.
could have had Adam Thielen then. I
We
guarantee
got to
you
do a
that.
film. No, they got Jordan Allison, bro. Jordan Allison, he the truth too. But JJ coming back this week, so that's why I also give Minnesota the chance to win because they're getting Jettas back. So, but my computer about to die. Trigger. It's been real. It's been fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank y'all tuning in, Lady Ray. Thank you tuning
Thank you,
in
Lady Ray.
always.
Once again.
Thank y'all for tuning in on Twitch and on YouTube. We multi-stream today, so yeah, that's it for me. Trigger.
Hey, it's gonna be a fun weekend.
Yes, it is. All right, brother. Oh, she said when we coming back. When we coming back, Trigger.
Let's see. I work Sunday, which sucks. 'Cause I'll probably be in and out on most of those games, man. Oh my God, it's gonna be tough. I'm gonna try to watch as much as I can, if the city lets me, but we'll see.
City never sleeps.
Yeah, I mean, it literally don't. You put Lynchburg right up there with New York City. I'm telling you. Anywho, we could come back Monday or Tuesday.
Actually, no.
Yeah, Monday.
I got an event. I think I should be good by 8:30. I should be good by 8:30 Monday.
Yeah, if not Monday, then my next available. Oh man, I might have to work Thursday. Yeah, Monday's probably gonna be the best day of this upcoming week for me. If not, it might have to wait till the following Monday. Because
I should be good.
I have something Tuesday night, and I'll possibly have to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Golly. Yeah, I got something Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think we good for Monday. We should be good for Monday.
Okay. Yeah, Monday. Monday night probably. And I'll let you know about the time. Maybe if we do a 5 o'clock. If not, it'll probably have to be 8 again.
Yeah, it's gonna Monday. I have to
Obviously,
do 8.
8. Okay. We'll
Yeah,
just
Monday
shoot
will
for
be
8
8.
then. 8 o'clock be better than if the kids will be out the way. I come down in the basement and not have to worry about anything. So
And we can watch some Monday Night Football and go live.
yeah, let's do
2
it.
games. 2 games. All right, brother. Love you.
All
Be
right, brother.
safe.
Love you too. Definitely. You do the
Later.
same. Lady
Yes,
Ray,
Lady Ray. Hold us to
appreciate
it.
you for joining us again this week.
Send make sure you send super chats and you send biddies and I'm just playing. All right, we out. It's
Peace.
bedtime. All right,
Yeah.
later.
See y'all.